Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WISTV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Things looking pretty good out on the highways this morning. No accidents to report. Doesn't appear that we have any major slowdowns as well. 79 will be our high today. Some clouds tomorrow, 73. Cooling down for Saturday. Rain and some wind. Only a high of 61 right now. It's 56 at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen
on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Jen had no faith in me, huh?
I can't say that. I can't say that the betting prospects were high.
It sounded like, thank you for believing that I would be here. It is also good that there's no report of the flash on any of the local interstates since I was running just a few minutes late and made my way down 20 and onto 26 and 126 and so forth and so on. But you guys did fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
I could have just turned the car around. Most people probably would have enjoyed that.
Bill, here at the early game, we like to take on the model of, next man up, next woman up, and we just keep this thing rolling on. Plug and play, Bill.
So I did like that. So, Jen, you're returning home to the alma mater this weekend. Faber College gets their favorite daughter back.
Absolutely.
Dean Wormer going to be excited. Senator Blutowski. You've seen Animal House, right?
No.
What?
There we go.
Let's
get this thing started.
Yep.
I know that of all the people in this whole building we're in, I'm the one that cannot say, what? You haven't seen a movie? But
yep. Nope.
Yeah, it's a classic. For sure.
I've seen the poster.
There you go. Well, that pretty much tells you what you need to know.
Okay.
That covers it all.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Well, Faber College, the famed Faber College is the setting of the movie. And of course, Senator Blutowski. What's John Belushi's?
Yeah, something I don't.
Blutowski, I think. But anyway, yep, he is that's of course the John Belushi character that was so good, and so many other good. Yes, that one we might just take a show during the summer and watch it and get your take
on the spot. Really quick, hot take: old Animal House versus Old School. No. I don't want to hear all you. I don't want. You was taking a deep breath, Bill. You was about to go into this
Animal
long
House.
Okay,
but there's nostalgia there.
Okay,
like
that's all I need to hear.
There's old movies that like Old School's good.
Okay,
but there's a few like Jaws. Like I'm not a movie buff. I'm not even going to try and pretend. Who did we have on yesterday? No, it was Heath. Heath was talking about Air, the Michael Jordan story. And I guess I may sit down and watch that at some point. But I'm not as anybody who's ever listened has learned, I'm not a person that like does well with movies.
Okay,
like I can't sitting for an hour and 45 minutes is not my idea of a good time.
I got you.
So that's but there are some old school movies, Animal House, Jaws. I'm also one of those people that like if like an apocalyptic movie, there we go, I got it out, comes on, I'll probably just throw that on. So like Day After Tomorrow or 2012 with John Cusack, I just have it on and be like, oh, world's gone again. There we go.
I did enjoy when Twister came on about a week ago. Made my mother-in-law sit and watch it one night.
Good old Twister.
Yeah.
Shout out to Helen Hunt.
Yeah, right. Boy, she's changed a little bit. Botox isn't always a friend.
Yeah. Oh man, I didn't realize that she's gone off the.
There's some new movies she's in, and somebody told me, like, I don't think she has any cheekbones left, or she just looks very different, and it's just sad. It's like, okay, enhance. That's one thing.
Yeah, it's there's a point where it goes too far. I always look at look at Smokey Robinson, and I don't think he can actually smile.
Bless him.
Just his face is just stuck in a permanent
Yeah, pretty much. There's a movie, Just Go With It, with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston, and towards the beginning of the movie, there's a a party, and Kevin Nealon has a character, and he's a plastic surgeon, and Kevin and Adam Sandler tells him, dude, you got to stop. You can't even drink through a straw. Like it's just
actually
so bad.
There's some funny parts to that movie.
Yeah.
I guess since we're on this topic off the bat, we'll get to baseball. I want to hear more
we
about
promise.
this.
This is more fun, to be honest.
I want to get. Well, I'm going to bring up something that's not quite as fun, but I do want to get to the John Morant thing that I'm completely either unaware of or didn't see yesterday. And baseball does play at 10:30 this morning against Texas A&M, the third consecutive early morning game. By the way, I'm a big fan of. Because it's rare and probably if it was an everyday thing, I'm a big fan of early sports. Like Patrick Pratt and I just absolutely. It's how I initially got into European soccer. Was the Euro Cup that they had, I think maybe 2 summers ago, because Patrick Pratt and I would just sit here and watch the Euro Cup, and he would explain to me what was going on, because you can watch sports early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm all for it. So 10:30 baseball game today. We'll talk about that. Don't worry, for those of you out there who are just dying to discuss South Carolina and Texas A&M, we'll get into it. But first, I will ask, since we're on the off-topic portion of the program, the Tina Turner passing, did this affect you too? Or you like?
Yeah, that's sad. I mean, she was such a talent, and it's just another loss. I didn't realize that she had moved to Switzerland.
Yeah, she's been out of the country for a long time. Probably, since probably the early 90s, she's been living abroad in Europe. She had a big, tremendous fanfare in Europe. She lived over there. Her husband lived over there. And there was a documentary on HBO where she was pretty much, this was a couple years ago, and she was pretty much like, this is probably the last time y'all going to see me. And I think she was just vowed not to live the rest of her life sort of in public, which is, I think, respectable for somebody who's had such a tremendous career. She just, lived her life and faded into the sunset as gracefully.
Gave us so much.
And gave us tremendous work. A pioneer. Yeah. Rock and roll pioneer. A tremendous vocalist. Obviously, we know her dancing. I feel like What's Love Got to Do with It is a seminal part of my childhood. The video playing on VH1 and Mad Max.
Yeah.
Private Dancer, like all.
Oh yeah.
I feel like a small nostalgic piece of childhood was just like, oh man, okay, Tina Turner, yeah. So
there are a lot of us that were like, man, I just want her legs.
Yeah, that's everybody. Everybody always, you want the Tina Turner legs. So yeah, man,
look that up. Like, what do you mean? I didn't know that was a thing,
sir.
Oh, hello.
Bill, you're.
No, I can sum up me in basically a very good sentence here from AC. He says on our Firehouse Subs text line, all the classic movies that Bill hasn't seen, but he's seen the Meg twice. It's actually 3 times, AC. 3.
Oh yeah, please get it straight.
As the Meg 2 is getting ready, he's just preparing for the Meg 2.
Yeah,
that's it.
Making sure I've got all the characters correct, the storylines. Make sure that anything small I don't miss. Okay, Tina Turner's legs. I'll have to check that.
There's probably essays written on that. Obviously, the classic movie. What's Love Got to Do with It with Angela Bassett and Lawrence Fishburne has spawned multiple memes and quotables, and it's probably definitely, if not a classic, for sure a cult classic. So a lot of folks were talking yesterday, man. But shout out to Tina Turner, a legend, and a legend has passed on. 83 is that's a good go. That's a good run, and that's solid. If we could get to 83 and accomplish some of those things, we'd all be very lucky.
Yep.
Gene weighs in, says proud Mary. Tina Turner nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've got it.
Rolling.
That's actually how I got to know Tina Turner, or came to knowing Tina Turner, was I think the 92 or 93 Final Four down in. I always used to I've always, I don't know, just a weird thing that I've liked was the montages, the opening montage, especially for the national championship game at the Final Four. Like CBS has always done a great job of having, I think they always do a great job of opening with some kind of song or music, Jim Nance or somebody kind of narrating the tournament and then leading into the final game. And then of course they've got One Shining Moment, but they did something similar.
Rolling.
I don't think it was that deep a voice, but it could have been. But they did that, and that was the intro, the theme song coming in for like that Final Four down in New Orleans. And so I remember that song because it was so well done, and the video, the little montage, and I was like, oh, and I got into that song.
Should we videotape? Should the punishment for Bill be Bill has to do the Proud Mary dance?
That was in my head.
Sequence?
That would have been amazing.
Mm-hmm. Proud Mary dance sequence on the live stream coming soon.
Get him a little flapper
Wait a
drum.
minute, what am I being punished for? Like,
he's still supposed to run the board.
We've talked about doing that today. Maybe we'll try and. Okay. Now we've just gone down a path. 803.
We're ready to go.
I don't think his hips would move like that. Just pretty sure about that. He might. He'll pull something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it'll be. It'll be my hip.
Yeah, I'm not moving the way I used to. I'm only 41. Life is not treating me well. 803-404-6100. We'll talk a little baseball, a little Ja Morant, Gamecocks and Texas A&M this morning. 10:15 pregame right here on 107.5 The Game. 10:30 first pitch. Maybe Jen will whip up some Tina Turner bump music throughout the morning. Tony Annan
It's in the works.
Tony Annan due in with us this morning at about 7 o'clock. We'll discuss some sports with him. And as y'all have said, Kerry Tharp set to join us as the race here is tightened back up. Only 11 points separates Kerry and Reggie, with Preston, myself, and Jen all in between. So our Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge heads to Memorial Day weekend, the Coca-Cola 600. Jen, of course, as you heard, off to the Indy 500. I will say there were several things that caught my attention on the way in. Did you say carb?
Yeah, carb day.
Carb day, okay. And I wasn't sure. All right, I'll bring that back up later.
I can celebrate.
Because when she said it, I thought, my first thought was like drinking beer carbs.
That's kind of Preston had that look. I was like, no, we're not. It's not a pasta festival.
Yeah, well, it's we'll get into that because Jen's off to Indianapolis right after the show. Literally, Jen may not even be here for the final 2 minutes of the show. She is packed and ready to go. Just be like, y'all close this thing down by yourself. So we'll figure all this out this morning here. Thursday morning, I know a lot of you are getting set for Memorial Day weekend. Maybe some of you making a nice 4-day weekend. Well, we'll get you through the morning. It's Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Got a take?
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Press here for Absolute Glass, the premier glass company of the Midlands, offering auto, home, and business glass repair. If your glass is damaged, shattered, cracked, or broken, they can handle the job. Cracked windshields? No problem. They'll come out to your location and replace it for you, usually for free, and to work directly with the insurance to take away the headache. If you're looking to increase the value of your home with new windows or mirrors, Absolute Glass will come out and take care of all of that for you. Windows, mirrors, shower enclosures. I say it all the time. If you can see through it, Ray and Mariana at Absolute Glass can do it. So check them out online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com. That's online at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800-568-2790.
Uneven sidewalks, pool decks, or patios? Canty can repair them for just a fraction of the cost of replacement. Call Canty Foundation Specialists today for your free estimate.
Canty can fix it.
Uneven concrete can be a dangerous tripping hazard leading to injury. Call the experts at Canty to permanently repair your sinking or cracked concrete. Call 753-1495 or visit CantyCanFixIt.com. Canty can fix it.
I'm Bridget Condon with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The Chiefs are holding organized team activities, and when Patrick Mahomes addressed the media, the question was raised if his contract needs to be renegotiated. Mahomes says he wants to do what's best for the team, but also for himself. He says he's not driven to be the highest paid quarterback and added, quote, "I've always said I worry about legacy and winning rings more than making money at this point." The Ravens holding OTAs as well, and the highest paid quarterback in the league, Lamar Jackson, was asked about the offense they're installing under new OC Todd Monken. He says it's going to be a lot less running and more throwing, calling the new system smooth and saying he's loving it so far. And running back Adrian Peterson hasn't played in the NFL since 2021, but isn't ready to call it a career just yet, telling the Fort Worth Star-Telegram if nothing happens this season, quote, "I will be hanging it up." This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers.
Call 800-715-9880.
That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
Call 800-715-9880. That's 800-715-9880.
Sponsored by Annuity General. Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
107.5 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey everyone, a good Thursday morning to you. It's time for your First Alert traffic update. It has been a calm morning around the region yet again. Things, of course, have remained calm in a weather sense as they do in a traffic sense. No main backups, confirmed collisions causing big issues around the Midlands this morning. Of course, if that changes, we'll make sure to keep you posted as we keep on into the day. Thanks again for listening. This has been a WIS First Alert traffic check. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
Eight 803-404-6100 is how you can weigh in this morning if you want to be a part of the program. South Carolina baseball set to come up here in about 4 hours, and I'm not trying to be negative on this. That's not my intention, but I do ask you, Preston, at this point, like, how invested do you think this team would be? I know, I think when you get, correct me if I'm wrong, you were around college athletes for 5 years, so you can say, no, not everybody feels this way. I think if you're a college athlete, a successful college athlete, you want to win, but you also understand, again, what the end game is, and the end game is not the SEC tournament. So you dropped your one yesterday at LSU. Obviously, you did it in bad fashion, give up 10 runs there and get kind of thumped 10-3. Kept having some opportunities throughout the game, but never could put it together. Some questionable calls at key times. But the bottom line was, the LSU gets the job done. LSU moves on, and now to me, I don't know, is beating Texas A&M today enough? And I'm not saying you go out with the intention to lose. Please understand, there's a difference here. But how emotionally invested do you think college athletes are at this point when you look ahead to next weekend? That's what will define your season versus what you're doing now.
That's the danger of losing. That's the danger of becoming a loser, because that team that we keep talking about, that was number 3 in the country, swept Florida, that is getting further and further in the rearview mirror. And what they're driving closer and closer towards is just being a simply average team at the end of the year. And when you talk about that they lost to LSU, they didn't just lose. They got blown out by LSU. And at the same time, LSU's in the same position. Like, all right, we'll take it. But it's not as if LSU's going all out to try and win the SEC tournament either. So, no, you don't want to get in that. You never want to get in the habit of losing, regardless, because it's not a flip of the switch. It's not like they say, all right, now's the NCAA tournament. Now we're going to get back to that team that they were. It doesn't exist anymore. They're closer to this team now than they were that team then.
I think the question, though, is because I was trying to think of an analogy to use for you. And I don't know if you're in your career, you ever had, like now, South Carolina, typically, not all the time. This year is a perfect example. They played Tennessee before they played Clemson. But, under Steve Spurrier, they'd play a Middle Tennessee State. They'd play a Coastal Carolina. They'd play a Wofford or Citadel or somebody like that before they played Clemson. And obviously, football is entirely different. You need to win. That's still you need to win that game. You can't lose. But when you know that a bigger prize is right behind it, because even if this team was, I'll be honest, this conversation, if South Carolina was guaranteed a national seed, if they were still number 3, I'd probably be the one sitting here going, yeah, save everybody. This doesn't matter. It's a very strange. This is the odd thing about these baseball tournaments, because again, I've never once, even when South Carolina was at their best in basketball back in with Eddie Fogler, or when I've seen Kentucky or when I've seen Duke go to the ACC tournament, I've never once said in a basketball tournament, rest your starters. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if it's the idea of winning the SEC basketball tournament championship or the ACC or the Big East or whatever. It's a very weird thing to say, and I don't know if I'm in the minority on this. I don't know if it's a mindset of baseball tournaments, Preston, at the postseason baseball tournaments like this, conference tournaments. Maybe, again, it's just me, but it feels like winning it, while is a great prize and something you can brag about, might actually be more of a detriment to your baseball team, given that you've got 2 grueling weeks and then however long to 2 full weeks in Omaha, if that's what you go. Like, it just seems like it's not a recipe for success. I'd be interested. I've never thought to even look this up until I'm talking about it now. How many teams have won their baseball conference tournament and gone on to win the national championship? Like, I've seen it happen plenty of times in basketball but I don't, and maybe somebody knows. I would have researched it before I came on and actually been prepared, but I've never thought to even ask that question until just now, as I'm kind of talking about it. How many conference tournament teams have then gone, conference championship tournament teams have then gone on to win the national championship?
Yeah, but that's a fair question for LSU to be asking. That's not a question that this current iteration of South Carolina Gamecock baseball can even entertain. They are not in the discussions of, we want to save a little bit for the NCAA so that we can be prepared. They don't have that luxury. They have not been playing well. And as a team, you cannot get into the habit of losing.
Okay.
Losing poorly, getting blown out, losing by huge amounts of runs. Because as much as we like to think of things being a light switch, that's just not how it goes. And things could happen. We saw them play against Georgia, but Georgia's not a very good team. We know that. If they're still going to play and compete the way they thought they were at the beginning of the year, even losing the game, losing in that fashion is not going to be something that is going to be acceptable. So, yeah, they're going to have to go out and win this game. So just to get the stink off, just to try and win and just to try and feel a little bit better, build up some momentum going towards the NCAA, because, as I said, that team that they were is getting further and further away from who they are right now.
I'm being much more careful in reading my email about the schedule moving forward. And let me tell you, I don't know if you've got this email, but it's not easier to read. As a matter of fact, if you were looking at me right there, I had to close one eye. I had to do the old man, close one eye to read, not because of the font, but because it helps me focus on what I'm reading to make sure I say it properly and don't give misinformation like I did yesterday. But if South Carolina wins today, I love the way this email is broken down because it's still confusing. If South Carolina wins today, they'll play tomorrow at 4:00, and it tells me 3:45 airtime. So 4:00 first pitch. So if they win today, we'll see. We'll kind of keep talking about that. We'll also get back into. We'll let Preston. This Ja Morant story is kind of interesting because it's a mental thing, and we talk about mental health and what guys are going through. And look, I don't think sometimes we talk about the pressures that are placed on certain players, not just to be in the spotlight on social media, but they're obviously providing for their family, as Ja Morant is doing, and maybe the pressure is getting to him. I'll let Preston explain that a little bit when we come back. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
We appreciate you listening to 107.5 The Game. And because you are a loyal listener, you might have noticed the last few weeks that the game hasn't sounded as strong coming through your speakers. Or you all of a sudden can't pick up the station in certain places around the Midlands. Well, a few weeks ago, our main transmitter was damaged during a storm. It'll still be a few more weeks until we get the parts to have it fixed. So, if you are having issues listening to 107.5 The Game, we encourage you to go to iTunes or the Google Play Store and download our app. In a couple of clicks, you'll be hearing the game loud and clear. Thanks again for your patience and for listening to 107.5 The Game.
Getting out and going on vacation. That's an exciting thing. And you know what? If you're like Clark Griswold, we talked a little movies this morning, you want to go get a brand new vehicle, take the family across the country on a nice vacation. Well, you need to get out to Love Chevrolet to do that. And guess what? They've got a lot better vehicles than what Clark Griswold picked up. That's right. Love Chevrolet, with that 14 acres of brand new Chevys, is ready to take care of the family vacation car, truck, or SUV this summer. Maybe you're not going on vacation. Maybe you're just sending a graduate off to college or off into the real world, and you need a present for them, and you want to make it something nice that they can get started with. Whatever it may be, whatever the reason, Love Chevrolet is your one-stop shop the next time you're in the market for a brand new car, truck, or SUV. The reason being, again, 14 acres of brand new Chevys from which to choose from. You've also got the great $1,000 low price guarantee. That's right. You can go shop other dealerships, take their deal back to the folks that Love Chevrolet, and they will top it, or they'll write you a check for $1,000. And of course, the most important part, having a sales staff that is friendly, that's courteous, that's respectful of what you're looking for, and is not trying to harass you or push you. The folks that Love Chevrolet, that sales staff, that's exactly what they are. They are there to help you, to make sure you're informed and you make the best decision possible for you and your family. Go visit Love Chevrolet, I-26 in Harbison, between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or you can visit them on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads.
Sponsored by TrainInfo.com. Train heating and cooling systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit TrainInfo.com to find your local independent train dealer. TrainInfo.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Sponsored by Staples Stores. Now during Staples Small Business Deal Days, when rewards members spend $100 or more, they get $20 back in rewards, plus another $10 back with a Staples Connect app. Rewards offer ends May 27th. Limit 1, redeemable in-store only. Save big for your business at Staples.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers, nurses, food services, facilities maintenance, mental health professionals, law enforcement officers, teachers, and more statewide. There are sign-on bonuses for officers, food services, nurses, and law enforcement officers. South Carolina Department of Corrections has great employee benefits, like 6 weeks of PTO accrued yearly and police officer retirement. Start a rewarding new career today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, "Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing." Or this one, "I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better," unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
The Gutterman offers a variety of guards for your gutter. Protect your biggest investment. Call the guys in the powder blue trucks. Locally owned and operated for 46 years. Call 791-7147. That's 791-7147.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the worry. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Sponsored by Express Employment Professionals. Take the stress out of your job search. Visit expresspros.com for jobs from a variety of industries. With more than 860 locally owned offices, the Express team is ready to help you find your next job. Go to expresspros.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey everyone, a good Thursday morning to you. It's time for your First Alert Traffic Update. It has been a calm morning around the region yet again. Things, of course, have remained calm in a weather sense as they do in a traffic sense. No main backups, confirmed collisions causing big issues around the Midlands this morning. Of course, if that changes, we'll make sure to keep you posted as we keep on into the day. Thanks again for listening. This has been a WIS First Alert Traffic Check. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
I'm your private dancer, a dancer for money. I'll do what you want me to do. I'm your private dancer, a dancer for money, and any old music will do. I'm your private dancer.
Well, that doesn't help. I was about to say, like, we are still a kid-friendly show. I don't know how kid-friendly that. And then I look over and Preston's having his own personal karaoke moment.
That was a song from my youth.
Just going back and forth and like just.
I think I was probably around, I don't know, 7 or 8, singing about private dances.
Well, and
I had no idea what was going on.
I was going to say, it's like a private dance lesson as far as the kids know.
There you go.
How about you down there, new guy in studio? You got Tony Annan has just got to the point now where he's just he's just part of the staff. He just shows up. I don't even know how you got in the door. I just looked up and you were wandering in, and
he's just that good.
They just now let him. He's just basically one of the members of our show each and every morning.
Yeah, here I am.
Let the disrespect begin.
Let the disrespect begin. Let the abuse flow my way.
You look good. You the boot is off. You're walking around pretty good. You're ready for camp season. There's still time for people to sign up for Tony Annan's soccer camps. A
few spots were pretty packed, but there's a few spots left.
Yeah, coming up June 5th through the 9th, and you're kind of ready to get going for that.
Yeah. 19th through the 23rd is the other one, and they're both pretty packed with lots of aspiring soccer players. So be a good time. Maybe get a tan as well on my.
You're the sun is free. Now, don't overuse it, but yeah, you're for someone who has an outdoor sport, and I assume that's now granted you've had a cast boot on one leg, so totally understand on that. But
and to be fair, it hasn't been that warm or sunny. It's been cool, and
we were talking about that yesterday because this weekend I was telling Preston during one of the breaks that Saturday's supposed to be like low 60, I think 61 with rain for late May, and the last several weekends has been just.
It's gonna be warmer in Indianapolis than it is here.
Yeah,
figure that out.
Can we put it in a bottle? Can I put this in a bottle and save it for August?
Yeah, you feel like it's still late May. Like normally about this time, isn't it mid 90s? And we're already people are already complaining about the.
Oh, it's coming. Don't worry. Just give it
some
some time.
Yeah,
just
but
give it some time.
You've
Like
learned
a Scud missile. You know what's coming. You can do nothing about it.
Exactly. It'll be here. Don't worry about it.
You've learned. I think both of y'all have learned just from being in the studio with me. I despise the cold, so I'm all for 95 and 100% humidity and gnats and all the thing, mosquitoes, and I'm okay with that. I will take that every day over the January 15th day where we come in and that wind tunnel that's out there. You come in the other way. But the wind tunnel that's out there and it's like 32 degrees and 6 o'clock in the morning, it's pitch black dark. Did you like that? This morning was even more pronounced that at 6 o'clock the sun was
brighter
out.
and brighter. I love it.
You're not a player or a coach then.
Correct.
You coached indoors with air conditioning on. That's why you are like that.
Well, yes.
And I use the word coach very loosely when it comes to you.
I'll be back. I'll be back on the sideline this coming Saturday over at River Bluff for our little AAU team. I will say what you just said. You're right. It was indoor, but a lot of those gyms. Preston, did you ever just get into any AAU basketball or?
Nope.
At all.
My basketball experience ended at the YMCA.
Let me tell you,
12 years old.
There is a lot of schools, at least in the Southeast, who during the summer there is no need for air. They just do not use the air conditioning. They are not going to. So you go into a lot of gyms, it's hotter in that gym than it is being outside.
That's nasty.
You know, the famous
and smells.
Yes, that too. But the famous stories around here, former coach George Glimpf at Eau Claire, you know, what he would do, and they would pack that place out. I forget what they called it, but they would, whatever they called their gym. But that was his thing, is he would turn the air conditioner off.
Sweat the opponent out.
And just you'd go in there, and it was, I thought we went in there for a scrimmage one time. Lexington, we went over to scrimmage Eau Claire, and it wasn't even close to packed. It was just a preseason scrimmage, and he didn't have the air on. And it was November. And I mean, I wasn't playing, and I looked like I had just gotten out of the pool. I was just chilling on the bench, like waiting on my turn to get in the 7th or 8th quarter. And real quick, Coach can kind of weigh in on this too. Tony Annan in with us. If you didn't pick up on that voice there a few seconds ago, welcome in. John Morant, and Coach, I kind of want to get your opinion on this because you've been around professional athletes and the pressure that they have to go through. John Morant appears last night to have had a episode on social media. You can kind of explain that, Preston.
Yeah, so the police in Memphis, they instituted a welfare check on John Morant because he made a very cryptic Instagram post where he was on IG Live, which is a very interesting distinction because now you have to get into, did he post it on his feed or whether, but anyway, it was on Instagram Live, and it was on his story that it said, the post basically said, there was one post that said, love your mom. The second post said, love your pops, with a picture of him hugging his father. The second one said, you the greatest baby girl, I love you. And then the last picture very cryptically just said, bye. And everyone was like, man, this is not good. And so Memphis PD doing their job, and folks that were concerned sent over for a welfare check. They said that he's doing fine, and he was just simply saying that he was leaving social media. But this is not one of those types of situations where you can take lightly.
No.
And so, especially considering all of the information that we've had leading up to this point, all of his sort of issues that he's had up to this point, this is something that was I don't even say was, I say that's still something that is very, very concerning. So, Coach, my sort of question is to you, when you start to see these things start to develop with players in their mental capacities, their mental health, that's something that I know we have to take a lot more seriously now than we did probably when you were playing or even when you first started coaching.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's a different generation of people. It's a different generation of kids, especially, and obviously a different generation of athletes. And I think mental health is at the forefront. It has to be taken seriously. You can't. Well, I think when we were kids, it was get on with it and get your head down and dig in.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't do that anymore because life has changed, the world has changed, generations have changed, and it's a serious matter, and it's a serious matter in every sport and every walk of life.
Yeah, and I think you are very uniquely qualified to talk about this because Ja essentially, he's 23 years old. He's basically been a millionaire for a long time, highly talented. But when you start to deal with these prodigies who've been supposed to be the person from 15 years old, have you seen that affect people's psyche as far as the pressure of being a soccer prodigy or coming up through the academy system?
We're going to hit the top of the hour here. I want to go back. I want to go back to that. It's a great question for him. And I want to bring up, and I don't know if either of you have ever read it. It's on The Athletic because it is actually more specific to soccer. And it's an incredible article in The Athletic about in Europe, soccer players who basically sign with clubs. Arsenal, I think the one that I was reading was Arsenal or Liverpool is what they were doing. And to your point, they sign with those clubs and that's their life. Like there's nothing else. Have either of you seen this article in The Athletic? I
haven't read it. I know which one you're talking about because it brought a lot of controversy to Premier League clubs.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get into that. Like I said, we got 57 seconds and that's not enough time for you to properly explain that. You can quickly in about 50 seconds give Preston a quick Tottenham update though, as we're heading to the last weekend of match play.
I don't have an update about Tottenham, mate. There's nothing to say. I mean, there isn't. It's just they are what they are.
The one serious update is they've got to find a manager, I'm assuming.
Yes, they're definitely going to try and find a manager and who's brave enough to take it.
Wow.
And work with that club. But that guy could have some mental health issues as well as it's been proven this year. They've destroyed a lot of people at that club. So. It
seems. Yeah, I'm guessing this year seems as bad as it's been. Is what you're saying?
I think it's
close,
peaking out. Yeah, I think it's to the top.
We'll get into that. That's a good question you asked him. I didn't want to get into it, and then we hit this hard out. We're not going to do to Coach Annan what they do to Greg Cody on the Levitard show. That wouldn't seem right. So we'll come back and get into that discussion with y'all. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is USC linebacker Mo Kaba, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
Millions of small business owners, like Leanna Lynn, choose Spectrum Business.
Spectrum Business services are essential to our business.
Call 855-282-FAST to choose Spectrum Business for your business. Get fast, reliable internet starting at $49.99 per month and the Spectrum Business Connect phone system with video conferencing for just $19.99 per month to get a free mobile line for 1 year.
I cannot live without it.
Call 855-282-FAST to choose Spectrum Business today. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. And with the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through June, purchase online with Beacon Pro Plus, web or app, and earn up to $1,500. Beacon, always building.
We get it. Your search for a new career seems never ending until now. Here's your chance to join the Cumulus Media digital sales team and put that search to an end. You'll be able to showcase your growth with a position where the harder and smarter you work, the more you'll earn. Cumulus Media Columbia is looking for motivated, energetic, and tech-savvy individuals who are looking for an exciting opportunity. Whether you are new to sales or an experienced rep thinking about the future, go to this station's website and click on Cumulus Careers to apply. Cumulus Media Columbia. Boost your career today.
Summer's heating things up, outside and on the grill. Whether you're smoking a brisket or grilling up veggies, Kingsford Original Charcoal delivers the consistent performance and smoky wood-fired flavor barbecuers crave. Kingsford Original lights faster and has a long burn time, giving you the ultimate grilling experience. So grab a bag of Kingsford Original Charcoal. Kingsford.com. Kingsford Original Charcoal lights faster and delivers consistent performance compared to nationally available charcoal in the USA.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting and waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
If you're thinking about retiring soon, be sure to tune in to Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby of Preservation Specialists, Sunday mornings at 10. Join Pat as he talks about the latest trends and headlines that could impact your retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 10 to Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby. Securities offered through Arcadios Capital Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Arcadios Wealth. Preservation Specialists and Arcadios are not affiliated through any ownership.
It's the Love Chevrolet Countdown to Gamecock Football. 100 days to kick off. Your trusted family-owned dealership since 1961. Get the vehicle you want, not the one you have to settle for. Love Chevy, South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet, winner of the annual Mark of Excellence Award for best-in-class customer experience, and home to the Silverado, the #1 selling retail full-size pickup in America. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The early game
with Bill Gunter.
I don't know if we'll get on this path today because this show we tend to just teeter wildly out of control.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
Unfortunately, I might know a little bit about the Kardashians.
Oh.
And just like that, we're away from sports talk.
And Jen Jensen.
37 text messages right now. One person. Sports talk show. Talk sports. Sir, ma'am, or whoever. Yeah, you don't get the program. You don't get the program. You don't understand what we're doing here.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
107.5 The Game.
.702 on a Thursday morning. Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, Jen Jensen, and joined, as he does each and every week, by head men's soccer coach Tony Annan as he gets ready for his own camp season. I know we talk a lot about Shane Beamer's camp season. Tony's got his coming up as well, and if you want to join one of his camps or send one of your kids to one of his camps, you can go to TASCcamps.com. TASCcamps.com. Tony Annan, South Carolina Camps is what that all is. TASCcamps.com. And you can check that out. You can get signed up. First camp coming up June 5th through the 9th. Preston and I will be out there one morning. We got to figure out which day will be best, Wednesday or Thursday, to come and hang out, sit on the porch. Patrick Perrett and I were out there last year, and you toured us around the facility. And Preston, have you ever been over to the soccer facility that Tony has? Have you walked through there and seen?
I have. I haven't been through the actual facility and seen the guts of everything, but I have been over to the stadium for sure.
It's going to be there once or twice a week next season.
There you go. I'm ready. I'm pumped.
Ready to go. So, yeah, I mean, great looking facility over there, weight room. And I know, again, you get your guys back coaching in July, and they'll start really getting the workouts in. And then season gets going there around August 8th or 10th. But camp season for you. And I know you love that and hosting a bunch of younger players to work on the game with them. And real quick, Premier League now, we've got 1 weekend left. I worked on this all last night. Relegation.
Good. Well done. So you've graduated. You've graduated English Premier League speak 101. Well done.
Relegation. This is the first year, obviously, is we've incorporated you into this program more and more to understand relegation and what's going on. I was watching the other day, I think it was Leeds United, and they were playing somebody, and they needed to win. And just you're talking about, like, we have tanking. I was listening to Eric Spoelstra talk this week about the play-in game for the NBA, and for how he thinks it's limited tanking in the NBA. Well, relegation, like, you have fans, they're awful. They're at the very bottom of the league. Leeds is, or not the very, very bottom. But you have fans who are visibly upset, crying, because they're about to be sent down to the next level of soccer and not be in the Premier League. Whereas in America, if the Detroit Lions are 2-13, Preston, and they lose at the end of the season,
we'll be right back.
Fans are cheering because they get the number 1 pick. They're like, oh, okay. I mean, that concept, I wish we had something like that in America.
Let me just clarify that as well. It happens in every single country in the world except here. Like, it happens in Mexico, right. It happens in Chile, it happens in Argentina, it happens in Belgium, it happens every single place. It's not just England, it's not just the Premier League and the Championship. Every soccer league in the world has promotion and relegation. Maybe not Australia because they only have one league, but the majority of countries who have soccer leagues have relegation and promotion. Yes.
And the MLS right now, I don't know.
MLS does not.
Do you think they'll ever get to that?
No. Because the league below is a different league. It's the USL. And if you were going to go promotion from, the guy who just bought San Diego's franchise,
right,
just paid $500 million for the franchise, right? You're going to tell him that if you have a bad season, you're going to go down into the USL and play in front of 3,000-4,000 people instead of 30 or 40,000 people, or the TV money, or get Apple TV's money, blah, 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 blah. There's so much money in the game that people put into it, they will not lose it. I don't think you would have that many billionaires buying clubs if that was the case.
Matt helps me with this. He says, I'm a West Ham fan. They beat Leeds, and now they have to win their last match or they get relegated. So, yeah, I mean, it's
Leeds. Yeah, Leeds are down.
I think he said West. I think he said he's a West Ham. Right?
He's a West Ham fan, but
Okay.
I think West Ham are safe.
Okay,
I think they are.
I'll look it back up there. But yeah, it's crazy to see. It's really interesting. I'll be fully tuned in because Sunday is the final day of the season, right? And then we pick back up
in August.
Yeah. So
Tell you who is safe. Newcastle United.
They are, and they're going to be
very, very safe.
Very happy about that, aren't you, too?
Oh, I am so happy.
The other concept, real quick, with the Premier League that I found really interesting, and I'm being dead serious, I'm not making fun of Tottenham or Preston, is last weekend, awful ending to the season. As a matter of fact, there was a play late. I don't know if you saw it. You might have been with your son at a soccer match and you didn't see it, but there was a play late. They had a throw in. They threw it kind of back toward the goalie, and I think the center back or the right back accepted the ball and kind of turned to the middle and just kind of poor effort. And one of the forwards came up and just took it. I mean, just took it and went in and scored a goal with little defense being played. So they lose 3-1. And I was telling Preston, as soon as the game ended, if there were any boos, you couldn't hear them because the PA system quickly flipped on the music. But then after the game, you've got to do the kind of the thank you walk for the players, and I guess they have awards that they give out. Is that?
I don't think they give awards out on the pitch, but they kind of thank the fans and walk the pitch. And I think they got booed all the way around.
Yes,
which is
couldn't hear them. Music. La 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 la.
Well, and I felt bad
la.
because they showed Harry Kane because they're doing they're switching from one match to the next one coming up. So there was about a 25-minute window there where they're kind of doing the in-studio show. So they would go back and show Tottenham. There's poor Harry Kane with his 2 children and his wife, and they're walking around, and you just probably not the best atmosphere to have your 2 kids at. Like,
hey, listen, Harry Kane's kids get to live very well off of.
So they can take a few boos.
They just go back to that house and be like, oh well, this is why we getting booed. So
okay, well then that circles us back to Ja Morant because now that's a little. I don't know if I would have handled a young age being booed all that well. So, but Ja Morant, as you were talking about, I'll let you kind of guys get back into that with that article I was talking about because I know it's across the board. I'm using the Premier League, but there are these clubs that start. What age do kids get into this?
Jeez, Man City signs kids at 5 and 6 years old to little contracts, man. It's crazy how young they're getting now in the Premier League to get players into the clubs and hold them there. So it's out of hand. The pressure's immense. The money is immense. So then you have parents who are now agent dads, agent mom, who now think their kid is the cash cow, which happens here as well. I mean, there's tons of them. If you go back through history, I mean, every child prodigy in every sport has an immense amount of pressure, not only from the sport or from the media or from the coaches, but at home too. I think 9 times out of 10, the parents are very, very, very involved and very, very overzealous to make sure their kid is the star and makes it to the top. Can you imagine that kind of pressure? I mean,
which is one of the reasons, as I stated yesterday, why though he may be annoying, you have to have so much reverence for LeBron because this is a man who was anointed as the chosen one at 17. And to this point, he's almost been flawless on the field and off the field. So and just having that sort of pressure cooker around. And one of the things that really struck me about this Ja Morant post is that he had 4 pictures of his family. He had his mother, he had his father, he had his baby, but they were only basketball pictures, you know? And it's like, I don't know whether you was doing this just for yourself, but the only pictures that you have of you and your mom are you in the uniform or them at the arena. Is that all that you have? Is that all your relationship is? You know what I'm saying? I thought that was really telling.
Yeah.
One, and I thought that's very, very interesting. Just how all-encompassing sort of their identities become as athletes. Now, obviously, Ja has made it to the point where he's a professional. He gets paid a lot of money, and he's tremendous on the court. But, Coach, even at lower levels, you see that becomes everything about these athletes.
Yeah, I mean, there are stories that go back. I tell my athletes, and I tell the athletes when I was in development at the pro club, there's a book that is bigger than any book in the world, and it's failed athletes who had masses amount of talent. And it's the biggest book in the world because it's filled with guys who were uber talented but could not handle the pressure or didn't have the mindset to do it or didn't care enough to do it. And they all go into this book of what we would call not failures, but didn't make it. And I say all the time to the guys, look, there's choices you have to make all the way not to get into that book. And no matter how much advice you give them or how much examples you make for them, they still make mistakes. They still do things wrong. I could tell, the last child prodigy we had in Atlanta didn't make it. He's still playing, but he's playing at a very low level now. And he should have been the next greatest soccer player in the States with his ability. But I also think the parents have a lot to do with it. And I think the environment they grow up in has a lot to do with it. But the pressure, yourself, you can take it or you can't. It's something you have to work at constantly, daily, to continue to stay humble or stay on top of it. And if you let it get to you, and if you add alcohol, drugs, social group, that can really detract from what you're trying to do. And I think it's a major problem that'll go on for the length of time. I mean, it'll go on forever. I think and now mental health is more prevalent than ever. And people admit that there are problems instead of burying their head about it. So,
what part of your job? Obviously, you're on the pitch, right? You're on the pitch. There's that part of the job. But how big a part of your job is all of the others, the player management? What is that?
Honestly, I think you could be one of the greatest coaches in the world. You could be. And if you cannot manage the squad, if you cannot manage individuals, if you can't manage the silent aspect of management, which is the stuff behind the scenes, you're not successful as a person or as a coach, sorry. And I think those pieces are even more important these days than they were back when. You could be the hard, stone, cold, no emotional kind of coach and be successful with that kind of player back then, or even to this day, there's still some guys react to that very well. But for the most part, you have to constantly work on communication, relationships, trust, friendships. I think if you'd asked me 15 years ago about what about friendships with your player, I'd have said, whoa, friendships? And I think these days you have to have some friendship. You have to have some companionship with your players. You've got to let them feel. You've got to let them feel you. And it's got to be a lot of trust and a lot, and I think the very best coaches do that really well. And that is the part of the mental part of the game that I don't think was prevalent back then. And I think it has to be these days to be successful.
803-404-6100. If anybody out there wants to weigh in, we do have the text line working this morning, and you can send Coach in a question. I do have a question that we will get to from Matt when we come back. You're listening to Tony Annan, Preston Thorne. I'm Bill Gunner. She's Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Have you missed any of the early game?
You can catch up by going to the early game on demand page at 1075thegame.com
or by downloading our 1075 The Game app on iTunes or Google Play.
It is that time of year where you like to get out back and start grilling, or maybe just enjoying a nice evening with a fantastic dinner. And it all begins at Old Timey Meat Market. I can speak. Last night, we picked up some chicken wings, put them on the smoker. Delicious. 3 different kinds of rubs, too. Preston, you would have been very proud of the Gunner household last night. Old Timey Meat Market, whether it's steaks, whether it's chicken, whether it's pork, maybe you like a little bit of fish. I'm a big fish fan. Mahi, salmon. Old Timey Meat Market has it all, including those chicken wings I was just talking about. So get out to one of their 3 locations, South Congaree, Irmo, or Lexington. You'll probably run into me at the Lexington store, and check out how to start your Memorial Day weekend. It all begins with a great menu, and the great menu begins at Old Timey Meat Market. So go visit them today and select maybe that perfect steak that you're going to put on the grill this weekend. Maybe it's a great cut of salmon that's been filleted. Maybe you just want some snacks. You don't believe it, but Old Timey Meat Market's got a great snack selection. That's right. You can pick up just some little hot dogs to kind of fix while you're sitting around this weekend. Maybe you want some alligator meat that you can put in a skillet and blacken up. It's beautiful. It's delicious. Trust me on that one. Also, they got chicken salad. If you want some pimento cheese, Old Timey Meat Market has got you covered. It's your one-stop shop. Go visit them again, South Congaree, Irmo, or Lexington. Stop by. Visit Old Timey Meat Market. Tell them you heard it here on 107.5 The Game with Bill Gunner.
This is JR with the CBS Sports Minute. Congratulations to the Florida Panthers for advancing to the Stanley Cup Finals. They swept the Hurricanes last night, and the winning goal came with 5 seconds left in regulation. Nobody expected them to be here. Go ahead and ask the Bruins. And just like their neighbors, the Miami Heat, maybe they'll join them in the finals and give the Celtics the boot tonight. There's a lot to do in Miami, but could you imagine 2 parades or 1 giant one? I'm getting ahead of myself, but that'd be a hell of a party in Miami, South Florida. I'm JR. CBS Sports Radio.
Come shop Memorial Day deals now at Lowe's. This summer, make your outdoor oasis flourish for less with 4 for $10 Stay Green garden soil. And save on appliances with up to an additional $1,000 off select major kitchen appliances. Find savings across the store today. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 5/31. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. While supplies last. Appliance savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See store at Lowe's.com for details.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. You may no longer be a husband, but you'll always be a dad. In the divorce process, this comes down to 3 key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do.
Online at CordellCordell.com. 1201 Main Street, Suite 840, Columbia, South Carolina, 29201. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
Sponsored by KFC. Everybody's going to want KFC's new Kentucky Fried Chicken Nuggets. Each hand-breaded nugget is made with 100% white meat and their famous original recipe. You've never had nuggets like these. That's finger-licking good.
Welcome back to Carolina Power Equipment and our special guest, Kai Kroger, punter extraordinaire for the University of South Carolina.
Yep, it's Kubota country right here at Carolina Power Equipment.
That's Kubota, Kai.
Oh, right. That's what I said.
Tell everyone why you love these Kubota zero turns.
They're like our best running backs. They can cut through anything, and they're built like our biggest linebacker, tough as nails. Plus, they can stop and turn on a dime, just like my sweet kicks.
Don't forget about all the Kubota tractors. This place is a Kubota superstore.
I love these Kubota tractors. They keep winning awards for being the best in the business.
It's like the Ray Guy Award for Best Punter, where you were clearly robbed.
Moving on. If you're a landowner, these Kubota tractors simply outkick the competition.
Kubota? Nice try, buddy.
Tried a little fake there. I'm kind of known for that.
Carolina Power Equipment, 2490 Charleston Highway in the heart of Casey. Or visit CarolinaPowerEquipment.com.
Kubota. It's the only orange I'll ever love.
Hi, I'm Glenn Matthews.
And I'm Melanie Matthews.
And we are the 3rd generation owners of Modern Exterminating Company.
In a time when corporate consolidation, high-pressure door knockers, and inexperienced startups are becoming the norm, isn't it nice to have an experienced, local, family-owned company that you can count on since 1955?
Modern Exterminating has been the local, independent industry leader in the pest control business for the last 67 years. Experience the local, family-owned difference for yourself at 803-765-2315 or pestfreesc.com.
Family is comfort. It's care. It's a safe place. It seems when you need help, you can always count on family. At Broom Heating, Air, and Electrical, they are a family you can depend on and have been for 53 years. Heating and air is their passion. Customer service is their pleasure. And when Broom Heating, Air, and Electrical are in your home, your family is theirs. For an appointment, call 803-754-9409 or visit their website at broomheating.com. Are you a commercial electrician looking for new opportunities? DNB Electric of Lexington, South Carolina is known for excellence, and they're hiring. With an exceptional health package, generous PTO, opportunities for overtime, and many other benefits, it's easy to see how DNB Electric has become a leader in the Columbia area. Be a part of their explosive growth. Join the leader. Check them out at dnbelectric.com/careers. That's dnbelectric.com/careers. DNB Electric is an equal opportunity employer.
Carolina Honda Powerhouse is your local Honda Power Sports Superstore, and we have 2023 Honda ATVs arriving daily. When you choose a Honda ATV, you know you're riding one of the most responsive, powerful, and durable ATVs on the market today, made right here in South Carolina. Honda Ranchers, Rubicons, Foremans, and Recons in stock and ready to ride. On-road or off-road, all roads lead to Carolina Honda Powerhouse. Just take exit 70 off I-20 and turn by the Flying J, or visit CarolinaHonda.com. Honda recommends utility ATVs for riders 16 years or older and recommends that all riders take a training course.
Mix a little sports analysis, pop culture, and great interviews, and you've got the Rich Eisen Show podcast.
And we say hello to the new number 8 of the New York Jets, because Aaron Rodgers is going back to school. A little triple Lindy wearing his old Cal number, diving into the New York Jets pool, which, as we all know, is filled with riptides everywhere. You have no idea. And it's normally for the ocean, but nothing ever makes sense for the Jets, ever.
The Rich Eisen Show podcast, wherever you listen.
Sponsored by Family Dollar.
Summer like you mean it, while saving more at Family Dollar. Whether it's a fun day outside, a poolside barbecue, or a trip to the beach, you'll find everything you need here. Grills, inflatables, cooler snacks, and so much more. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
We have a report of an accident I-20 eastbound at Broad River Road. Also, Trenham Road at Two Notch. We have an accident reported. So be careful out there this morning if you would. 79, she says, will be our high today under partly cloudy skies. Cloudy tomorrow, 73. And on Saturday, rain and some wind, 61 is all that we're looking for as a high. Right now, it's 56 at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The Early Game with Bill Gunter.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And Jen Jensen on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
And I wonder when we are ever gonna change. Living under the fear till nothing else remains. We don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we want is what's beyond.
Is he right?
Slightly off. That was We Don't Need Another Hero. But, you know.
No, I was saying what's love
That's
got
right.
to do
That's,
that
he was
her
mentioning. He was saying that was next. Right. He was saying we needed that one. So yeah, but you know, sounds of a certain time all sound the same to a point.
Yeah.
The big thunderous crash. A lot of screaming.
I will admit there is not a single Tina Turner
Not
song
one in your
not
repertoire. In your mental jukebox.
Yeah,
you don't have one.
Well, Rolling on a River.
Okay,
that's or whatever. I don't
Proud
know.
Mary?
I don't. Is that Proud Mary? Is that what that is? Okay, yeah. See,
CCR.
Mm-hmm.
Did it first.
Oh, did they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
She covered it.
All right, there you go. So Tina Turner's not going to be. I know it's a big loss. 83 years of age yesterday.
Which again, I must say, 83 is a great run.
Yep.
And she did wonderful things.
Yeah, did fantastic. So
have you looked up her? I mean, now this is weird, but I mean, we made a comment earlier that it's like her legs. I mean, were like I feel insured. Like she had amazing legs, and Bill didn't know that, so he said, "Hey, in a weird way, look that up." And
Her
did you
legs
ever?
are taller than you are, mate. Hey, I give back. Don't forget that.
I'll be writing that one down.
Where do we go from here?
That is experts from a lot of years growing up in locker rooms, right? You got to be quick.
Got to be quick with those one-liners.
You got to be quick.
Got to fire back.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get to a few of these. Let's just keep on moving, keep on rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Jim weighs in. Jim on our live stream. Very appreciative of what you just said. He said, "I've got a 14-year-old son playing club and school soccer. I would love for him to play for a coach like Coach Annan." And then you've got Matt here, and this is a little bit more of a question for you. He says, "Can you ask Coach what's the most popular chant song for Newcastle?" West Ham sings "I'm Forever Blowing Bubbles." He says, "I've been to 6 matches at London Stadium. It's pretty surreal." So what is the Newcastle chant or song?
The Bladen Races is the big one. So it's a song called The Bladen Races, which is about, it's like the culture of Newcastle. That's probably the song that's associated with Newcastle the most. Right now it's "We've Got Bruno in the Middle." We've got Bruno in the middle. We know exactly what he needs.
Are you nodding because you know, or
I'm just nodding at the greatness that is happening on the show?
I'm giving it to you. Here, look, listen. We've got Bruno in the middle. He knows exactly what we need. Isaac in attack, Botman at the back. Newcastle's going to win the Premier League. That's the most popular one right now. So
okay,
there you go.
It's no
But Bladen Races is Newcastle's big chant. That's the one that gets everyone going.
We'll see if we can. We'll see if Jen can dig that one up and
good luck.
And have okay.
I could sing the whole thing, but I'm not prepared to do that.
Are we allowed to sing the whole thing?
Yeah, it's clean.
Okay,
it's clean.
All right,
It's PG.
Maybe we'll get into that. 803-404-6100. Off air, I want to get back into this with mental health, and you are more equipped to understand your players, I think, than maybe a lot because of what you went through. And I want to go back to the Premier League because maybe we don't understand it, just how difficult it is when kids, I mean, that's what they are. 17, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 kids get cut and they've spent their whole life, and how that can affect their mental health, and how you've seen it affect both over there and here in America with Atlanta, or now you've got Charlotte up there, and you've got Inter Miami and all these organizations that are developing.
Yeah, I mean, I shared off air my experience when I was 18 and I got cut from West Brom, and I was walked into a room and 3 guys sat there, 3 coaching staff, and said, "We're not saying you again. The contract's up and we're not renewing you. We're not giving you any more, and good luck to you." And that was it. Out you go. And they shut the door behind you, and you walk down the corridor and you're crying your eyes out because everything you've dreamed of, everything you've sacrificed for, everything you've tried your very best for ends in an instant, and you're lost. And there's nobody there to pick up the pieces for you. Now, that was in the 90s. That was 1992, I believe I got released. 92. And you're lost. You don't know what to do. You've left school. You signed a contract when you were 16 years old, and at 18, it's done. And it's a really, really hard place. And I didn't think I struggled that much when I was that age because I didn't realize. But now I'm nearly 50. I can look back and go, wow, that was really tough, And I think now there are mechanisms in place at Premier League clubs, and hopefully these other clubs that are, I don't know if it's in place in MLS because it wasn't in place in Atlanta. The times we had to release kids, it was torture, and the parents took it just as badly as the kid. I mean, but there's a huge problem in all sports. I think when a football player leaves college, doesn't get picked up in the NFL, now what? It's been their life since 5 years old, flag football, I just don't think people realize how hard it is for the athlete to just then bounce back and say, right, okay, there's a lot of help needed around that. There's a lot of support needed at those times. I mean, I had a friend who did exactly what I did, and he went to London, and his dad was basically his agent, and there was so much pressure on him. He ended up in rehab. He ended up marrying a girl that he shouldn't have married. That was not a reputable occupation. he ended up in all sorts of trouble, and he was the next, he was supposed to be the next big player, and he got released, and he didn't take it, and I mean that spiral was fast. So I just think there's a huge need to address mental health. I think there's a huge need for, especially since the world changed. In 2020, the world changed. We have to accept that, and we've got to get on with it. We've got to accept the new reality.
Preston, when we come back, I want to ask about a player you played on the defensive line with you that was a mega recruit out of Myrtle Beach. See if you can figure out who it was. I think Conway was his high school, and maybe didn't live up to the billing and get the American football side of that when you see these, because we put pressure. Nick Harbor is coming here as a 5-star prospect that everybody is completely fired up. Spencer Rattler is kind of still trying to redeem himself from what he was considered to be. I want to get your take on the football side of that when we come back. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen, and Coach Tony Annis. The early game on 107.5 The Game.
Got something to say?
Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer.
At 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Now is the time of year when you want to keep a nice, clean home. And to do that, you need Zero Res and their patented ZR water technology. Contact them today, 803-262-4020, or you can schedule online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129. So again, give them a phone call, 803-262-4020, or you can schedule with ease online, ZeroResColumbia.com, with their patented ZR water technology that does not leave behind a sticky, soapy residue, nor will it have any impact on your carpet, your rugs, your towel. It'll be nice and easy for your kids to roll around, play on it this coming weekend, and it will look absolutely beautiful. So again, call Zero Res, 803-262-4020, or schedule online, ZeroResColumbia.com. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
At Kroger, we know the minute a tomato is picked, the fresh timer starts. The sooner we get our produce to you, the fresher it is. That's why we've shortened the time from harvest to home for our tasty tomatoes, strawberries, and salads. So no matter how you shop, you have more time with your fresh produce. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Enjoy summer festival savings on boneless New York strip steaks, just $8.99 a pound in the family pack with your card and digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hi, my name is John, and I'm self-employed, and we got sidetracked on our taxes at the 2008 recession, and it became a monster that we couldn't tackle ourselves. We heard about the Ecton Law Firm on the radio and contacted John. If you could classify someone as a miracle worker, I would put him at the top of the list, because he took our problem and resolved it for us with our not only our unpaid taxes, but our unfiled tax returns from previous years. And I would highly recommend the Ecton Law Firm.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
Join the celebration at Carowinds with Aeronautica Landing, an all-new themed area with 5 new rides set for high-flying adventure this summer. Then stay into the night as Carowinds celebrates 50 years of Carolina fun with a party like no other, including new food and drink, unforgettable live entertainment, and a nighttime firework and drone show. Visit Carowinds.com for more information. Right now, get tickets as low as $39.99 at Carowinds.com with our early dates deal. Carowinds, for the fun of it.
What's up, Gamecock Nation? This is Spencer Rattler, here to tell you about the best South Carolina coverage out there at GamecockCentral.com. For a limited time, you can become a member and get access to all USC sports and recruiting information you want for a special deal. Head over to GamecockCentral.com now to become an insider and join the family.
Spring just around the corner. You want to make sure that pool out back is looking beautiful and ready to be used. Contact Corley Pool Solutions today. How about this? They are less expensive than actually using the pool store. That's right. Tracy Corley and his team are ready to help you today. Give them a phone call, 803-445-8109. They'll maintain your pool. Make sure that pool looks absolutely fabulous. So call them today, 803-445-8109.
Luke Kane from Mosquito Squad helps you fight the bite.
In springtime, new life is everywhere. So we want to help you enjoy being outside without the disease vectors or the bites from those new life insects. So we're going to come in and we're going to barrier treat your backyard. We're going to take care of those pests, and we're going to keep that barrier in place by coming every 3 weeks to ensure that you have the same degree of protection from day 1 to day 21. So it doesn't matter if next week you got a birthday party coming in or you got your kids' baseball team coming over. You're going to have the same protection every day. Call Mosquito Squad today. Here to help you fight the bite.
Use the promo code MySquad and get a 10% discount on all services.
You can pick out every detail of your remodel.
That one. Or that one?
That one. No, wait, that one. But you never really know what it will look like until...
Well...
not what I imagined. CHW Cabinetry understands. Not being able to visualize what your new space will look like can be stressful, but our photorealistic renderings leave nothing to the imagination, and our job site book makes sure everyone's on the same page. Literally, learn more at chwcabinetry.com. CHW Cabinetry. Passion from inspiration to installation.
1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
And taking a peek at your traffic conditions out there this morning, we're looking at tie-up I-20 eastbound at Broad River Road and Trenham at Two Notch, an accident there as well. So be careful if you would. It's actually going to be kind of mild right now. It's 79 today under partly cloudy skies, 73 on Friday, that is, and 61 on Saturday with some rain and wind. But right now we're looking at 56 at 107.5 The Game.
What we're talking about on 1075 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
.37 on a Thursday morning. Head men's soccer coach Tony Annan with us this morning. Again, soccer camp's getting going here in just about 2 weeks. Preston and I will be out there. We'll kick it around on the pitch. Check out the boot room. Are you familiar with that there, the boot room?
Is that where they have the boots?
Correct.
There we go. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's very good. Yeah,
You're both graduating this semester.
We've done a lot better. We've really been on our A game this morning. But
you did say Worcestershire sauce yesterday, appallingly though. I will say that. Yeah. I heard you in the meatloaf conversation.
Oh yeah.
Say Worcestershire.
If I say it the way I normally say it, I'll say Worcestershire. I can't. You can forget.
I've heard some people say
Worcestershire. Yeah,
there's
a shower involved
I
in it.
almost texted you when I heard it. I was like, oh my God. I'm going to kick that one tomorrow.
Yeah, that's not going to go well. So anyway, you can go learn soccer or English lessons from Tony. Sauces. Yeah. Tony Annan Soccer. Go to tasccamps.com. You can sign up there. The first one coming up June 5th through the 9th, but you got a whole list of camps coming up as well. Even some that I think were part, Preston, of our growing up where you can spend the night, a residential camp. And I never did a residential camp at South Carolina.
Staying Capstone this year, mate.
Okay.
That's where we're staying.
All right. Good. So go check that out. tasccamps.com. Talking kind of just mental pressure, I guess is what you would call it. I know we say well-being, mental health, but some of the pressure the athletes have faced. We're talking about this because of Ja Morant last night putting something up on Instagram that caused a welfare check on him by the Memphis police. You had a player that you played with, George Goss, big-time recruit out of Conway, was a kind of a 5-star defensive end. I believe his cousin, not his brother. His cousin was Andre Goss, who I believe was already on the team. But George was kind of that next guy. He was supposed to be the next John Abraham to come in and really be a terror off the edge. I was asking Preston during the break. I couldn't remember if he was a 5-star or right there up at it, but he was an elite recruit that Lou Holtz and staff landed. Good career. You mentioned it. Good career.
Yeah, he had a solid. I mean, he had a solid college career. He got hurt with his knee. That sort of gave him some issues. Went on to have a cup of coffee with the Denver Broncos for a little while. But the big thing about George, which is sort of to this conversation, because George, his identity was never really about football. George, first of all, George probably has. I've only heard George say maybe 20 words in his whole life. But George was just sort of a kind of a down home country guy, and he sort of likes riding motorcycles, and that was sort of what his whole deal was. So George is George does the power lines now.
Oh,
and he sends pictures to the old man group chat that we have, and he's just happy. He's like, yeah, I'm up in Michigan. They had a storm, and I get to be 100 feet up in the air, and he loves it. And I think what George was so successful be able to transition because that was never his whole identity. You know what I'm saying? So George is a really interesting story because he probably didn't have the career that he wanted to have, or B, that people expected. But George is tremendously happy, and he works an occupation which sort of fits his level. He gets to work by himself, high up, away from everybody else, fixing things, and he's doing tremendous.
So you see a kid that's coming in like Nick Harbour, and again, the expectations are through the roof, and that's that. I think sometimes we forget that we put that on the player, that the player has to deal with that when they come in, that with social media and everything, you've got people building you up. I know Lou Holtz, I think, used to say, was it Lou Holtz, I believe, who said, once you get them on campus, you got to kind of de-recruit them.
I don't think Lou's ways would go very far these days. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing this even with Spencer Rattler. I mean, Spencer Rattler has been floating around the football universe for almost 10 years now, right? Because this kid he's on a reality TV show, and he had to sort of shed a lot of that skin where we saw this kid that had to grow up really in front of our eyes, and he's still dealing with that as being somebody who's, a prodigy of being a quarterback. So yeah, it's a long way, especially in those positions where it's the one singular person where we all know this person's name. It's obvious. I always like the phrase it comes with. Obviously, it comes with a lot of spoils because they get a lot of great things. They get a lot of attention, a lot of money, all the good things. But on top of that, there is significant pressure for them.
Alex Ferguson did it at Manchester United. He had Ryan Giggs, he had David Beckham, he had Paul Scholes, the class of 92, those youth kids that came through. He never allowed any media, any interviews with Giggs for at least 2 years after Giggs broke into the first team. Beckham, same thing. You never heard from Beckham until he was 21. He did a really good job of hiding them from the media. Now, back in where they broke through in 95-ish, 94, 95-ish, there was no social media, right? You didn't have Twitter, you didn't have Instagram, or any of those. So they didn't have platforms to reach globally. But the media was intense, the newspapers were intense, but they never gave any interviews, and they weren't allowed to give interviews, and their money was capped, so they could only earn so much money. And I think their career and their longevity was a product of that, because they were kept in the shadow until it was the right time.
Will Muschamp, I think at the time we disagreed with it, but hearing what you just said and then talking with Preston, kind of having this conversation this morning, Will Muschamp had the philosophy as freshmen didn't talk to the media. So like when Jake Bentley broke onto the scene as the starting quarterback, it's unheard of to not have your starting quarterback talk to the media. I mean, that's the starting quarterback pretty much at every university is the face of the program. Do you agree with that philosophy? Because what you just said about Alex Ferguson, it's a little bit different for you, for South Carolina soccer. You don't have players that go to a press conference.
Yeah, it's not the pressure.
So, but we
had it in Atlanta. We did. We had kids coming in at the reserve team in Atlanta, and I refused to let them do media. But they had their own Instagram,
right,
and they had their own Twitter, and so they found a way of broadcasting themselves. I think if you look at kids these days in football, baseball, it doesn't matter, right? We did a charitable event with our soccer team, and I looked at our kids' Instagrams afterwards, and the only pictures they posted about the charitable event was the ones they were in. Not the group picture, not the picture of the kids that somebody else with the kids. The only pictures they posted were the ones with them in the picture. And I wasn't appalled by it, but I was like, that sums it up right there. It wasn't about the charity event. It was about their picture being at the charity event. That was the picture they posted. And if there was just one, they posted one. If there was two, they posted two. That sums it up right there. I mean, that tells you that they know their global reach. They know the reach Instagram and Twitter has.
So obviously that has nothing to do with kicking a ball in the net. Do you have that conversation with them as a team? Not where you're jumping on them, but does that conversation come up, or is that just what you have with coaches, with you, what Shane Beamer, what Mark Kingston?
I'll bring it up. Like, we got beat 3-1 and the kid scored a penalty. The kid posted the penalty. I was like, oh, and literally 5 minutes after the game finished, he posted his PK going in the net and him running away with his hand in the air. We got beat 3-1. We weren't even on the bus home, and you've posted the penalty. I have a problem with that. But they don't care. It's there. That's there. It's them. It's them. It's their moment.
803.
But to absolve, and I always say yes, that is them. But they've grown up in a youth soccer, youth sports world where I'm sure they've learned that from us as parents, where we've done the same thing. Yeah, my child's team might have lost, but little Preston scored a goal, so I'm gonna make sure I put that on my Facebook so my old friends can see it. Because none of your friends are on Facebook, just those old people.
Times changed. That's what I'm trying to
say. I see it on Facebook where somebody, they either they score points in basketball or touchdowns in football, but they don't mention who won or lost. But then when the team wins, it's like, great weekend. We won all four, and you're like, oh, what happened on the 2 weekends ago?
That's where we're at.
803-404-6100. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up here with Tony Annan. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game on demand podcast menu.
Sponsored by Lexington Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
If you're dealing with injuries or pain, our team is here to get you better sooner.
On the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Audible. Kickstart your imagination with Audible. Hear celebrity and music memoirs, mysteries, true crime, and more. Audible is the home of storytelling, audiobooks, podcasts, and originals. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
Life matters. Someone said the thing I liked about Brett Favre is that he played football like a kid. Man, was that true. It was also true of baseball greats Mickey Mantle and Ernie Banks. Mickey carried the weight of the most famous franchise in sports history on his shoulders, but he never stopped being childlike in his enjoyment of the game. Ernie Banks' trademark slogan was, "It's such a beautiful day, let's play too." These guys knew the value of staying childlike, and that's a characteristic Jesus admired. He said that people who enter his kingdom should remain childlike. He wasn't talking about how they played a game, but he admired anyone who could stay focused on believing, even when life tried to rob you of all reason to believe. To have childlike faith means to believe Jesus even when life may have beaten you so badly that it seems difficult to have faith at all. To believe like a child that Daddy will always come through for you. This is Pastor Stephen Chitty. Remember, life matters, and so do you.
Go to clcolumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
Playing hard left you with sore muscles? Consider cryotherapy. Embraced by athletes at the highest levels, cryotherapy is known for reducing inflammation while stimulating rapid recovery. It strengthens your immune system, increases metabolism, boosting your energy, not to mention cognitive clarity, for days.
Feel better than you thought possible in just 3 to 4 minutes with cryotherapy. Schedule an appointment at Icebox Cryotherapy at 4609 Forest Drive.
Interest rates are going up all over town, but Galliana Chrysler Jeep has rates going down, down, down. Now you can finance new Jeeps at 0% APR at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. Or you can buy now and pay later with no payments all summer long. And exclusive of that offer, new Jeeps, savings up to 22% off. Yes, 22% off a new Jeep. Lease a new Grand Cherokee, Wrangler, or Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid and save over $11,000. Plus, we'll take any trade in any condition. All trade-ins are welcome. New Jeeps, 22% off, 0% financing, or no payments all summer long. It's Jeep season at Galliana Chrysler Jeep on Greystone. I-126 Zoo Exit in Columbia. Call 779-7300 or GallianaSC.com. Max savings on Renegade stock number 28520 plus tax and tax. Includes 225 closing fee. To qualify buyers, $27.77 per month per thousand borrowed for 36 months at 0 APR with 0 down. Dealer rebates up to $400 per month till September. Subject to loan approval. Offers open combined expires month end.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring sergeants and lieutenants statewide. If you have correctional, security, military, or police experience, you can join SCDC as a sergeant or lieutenant. There's a $7,500 sign-on bonus and increased pay for most security positions. Start a rewarding new career with great benefits today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply now or call 803-734-JOBS for more information.
No one likes to talk about the injuries, pain, disability, and lost loved ones that result from terrible car and tractor-trailer accidents. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're honored to be the lawyers our clients rely on during their toughest moments.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When a work injury disrupts your life, I work hard to get you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zerust Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning a call. Right now, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Book online at ZerustColumbia.com.
Sponsored by Security Federal Bank, helping people, changing lives since 1922. Member FDIC.
If you think all banks are the same, come experience the difference at Security Federal Bank. Security Federal Bank has unmatched customer service and a hometown feel because we're a hometown bank. Security Federal Bank, helping people, changing lives. Member FDIC.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey everyone, a good Thursday morning to you. It's time for your First Alert Traffic update. It has been a calm morning around the region yet again. Things, of course, have remained calm in a weather sense as they do in a traffic sense. No main backups, confirmed collisions causing big issues around the Midlands this morning. Of course, if that changes, we'll make sure to keep you posted as we keep on into the day. Thanks again for listening. This has been a WIS First Alert Traffic Check. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Is this one of Tina Turner's better hits?
It is. It's The Sounds of Silence.
I do remember that. Grammy.
Big wheel keep on turning. Proud Mary keep on burning. And we're rolling.
Oh, it is the Preston Thorne deep voice.
Rolling on a river. Say we're rolling.
It speeds up here in a second.
Rolling on a river.
We're gonna get hit with so many like copyright infringements on the live stream. Rolling along this morning here as we get you up and get you going. Rest in peace to Tina Turner, passing away yesterday, 83 years of age, as Preston has said. Incredible life for her. 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. I have gotten many of the texts. I'm aware. We obviously are aware. We've got a liner about it, a promo, I guess you'd say. We know that there are some issues this morning with the radio signal. You can always go to our app. Go to your app store, type in 107.5 The Game. You can pull that up, download, and listen to us there. Obviously, you can go to our live stream as well. Go to youtube.com, search 107.5 The Game. Click, join, subscribe, join in the conversation there. So as we wrap up with Coach Tony Annan, who of course will be back next week as always. But you go into this time of year for you real quick. Is school is out, the high school out in about a week and a half. But as you go into this time of year for you, how much time do you get off? How much is it how much time do you get away with the family? How much is it for a coach? Because we see you were mentioning, we were talking about Shane Beamer. I got a text. I guess he's playing golf today down, I believe, at Congaree is where he's at. It's not, we're talking about social media. You've got to kind of stay in tune about 365 days a year, or with soccer, is it a little bit where you get a little bit more of a break?
Not really. I think my break comes back end of June and sort of early July. I get a good chunk of time to spend with family and vacation and stuff like that. But probably about, I've got a camp, an overnight camp, 7th through the 9th of July. And then I'm taking the family out to Montana to give them an outdoor holiday. And that's, once we get back from that, I'm fully back engaged again. Recruiting, I'm recruiting actually at the end of the month. I'm going to Nigeria.
Right.
So I think it's what you want, right? I can't obviously play golf at the moment because of my peg.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have played a few times this month because May is probably the quietest month.
Okay.
But it is what you want it to be. I think some people take more time, some people don't take any time, and I think you've got to have a balance. But I like to work, I love to work, and I enjoy working. So I feel kind of anxious when I don't work. So I like to get things done. I like to be organized. I like to plan, and I'm a details guy. So I spend a lot of time, and we've got a staff meeting today about August, September, and October. So it's kind of I'll take time, but I just don't take that much time.
I'm by the way, I'm glad you got your boot off. I was talking with Will last week, and he said that it was taking you forever to get around. He was walking with you, and he was having to walk very slowly so that you could keep up with him.
Well, I'm actually faster in the boot than I am now because now I've got to really accentuate my movement. But Will is not very fast, so he cannot really say much. He's a goalkeeper. I mean.
Oh, okay. I'll goalkeeper.
Fast in thought, no. Fast in feet, no. So I hope he's listening. He's probably sleeping still.
Well, we always appreciate it. Look forward. Hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Get out, and maybe do some grilling or something.
Well, my wife and kids are leaving me, so I'm on my own all weekend.
Oh, look out. Plenty.
So I got to find something to do.
Well, Sunday you've got a big day there. You can check out the last day of the Premier League and then get ready the Euro Cup. What is it? The Euro Cup coming up, or what's the final? Real quick.
The Champions League final?
Champions League, I'm sorry.
It's coming up soon.
Coming up, yep, next week. We'll talk about that. We'll get into more of it with Coach Annan next week. We'll be back. Hour number 3 on the way. We'll get into a little baseball. South Carolina and Texas A&M. First pitch set in about 2.5 hours. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Gamecock quarterback Spencer Rattler, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, the home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
Hi, I'm Glenn Matthews.
And I'm Melanie Matthews.
And we are the third-generation owners of Modern Exterminating Company.
In a time when corporate consolidation, high-pressure door knockers, and inexperienced startups are becoming the norm, isn't it nice to have an experienced, local, family-owned company that you can count on since 1955?
Modern Exterminating has been the local, independent industry leader in the pest control business for the last 67 years. Experience the local, family-owned difference for yourself at 803-765-2315 or pestfreesc.com.
Millions of small business owners like Leanna Lynn choose Spectrum Business.
Spectrum Business Services are essential to our business.
Call 855-282-FAST to choose Spectrum Business for your business. Get fast, reliable internet starting at $49.99 per month and the Spectrum Business Connect phone system with video conferencing for just $19.99 per month to get a free mobile line for 1 year.
I cannot live without it.
Call 855-282-FAST to choose Spectrum Business today. Restrictions apply. Services not available in all areas.
Are you looking for a summer camp for your 5 to 14-year-old? Do you want them to experience the lifetime sports of golf, tennis, and swimming? Then the Wide World of Sports Summer Camp at the Windermere Club is just the camp for you. We offer 7 weekly Monday through Friday sessions to choose from beginning June 5th. The camp offers half-day camps, which run from 9 to noon, half-day with lunch and pool, which runs 9 to 2 p.m., and full-day 9 to 4 p.m. is also available. No rainouts and no equipment necessary. We supply rackets, golf clubs, curriculum, and first-class instruction. All campers get t-shirts and they hit for prizes every Friday. The Wide World of Sports Summer Camp at the Windermere Club is a once-in-a-lifetime experience you can revisit year after year. For more information and to register, please visit sports4.life. That's sports, the number 4.life.
Can you imagine a magical world
filled with elves and fairies
and pixies and sprites
whose only job is to make people happy?
They want to see you smile
and laugh
and sing
and dance a little.
These magical beings will suddenly appear
when you call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
And then you'll look at babies and smile.
And tell delivery people to have a wonderful day.
And wave at your neighbors whenever you see them.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Are you a commercial electrician looking for new opportunities? DNB Electric of Lexington, South Carolina is known for excellence, and they're hiring. With an exceptional health package, generous PTO, opportunities for overtime, and many other benefits, it's easy to see how DNB Electric has become a leader in the Columbia area. Be a part of their explosive growth. Join the leader. Check them out at dnbelectric.com/careers. That's dnbelectric.com/careers. DNB Electric is an equal opportunity.
Hey, y'all, Jay Phillips here from my good friends at Dan's Fan City in Harbison. Ceiling fans don't sound like something you think about a lot because you don't really need to, but when you've got good ones, they work so well, keeping energy costs down and your comfort level up. All kinds of fans at Dan's Fan City, big to small and quiet, quality fans. They have accessories and light kits, fan blades, and more. Stop by and see them soon, Harbison Boulevard next to Total Wine, or call Dan's Fan City, 781-FANS. You'll be glad you did.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet, celebrating the incomparable Silverado. For the first time in history, the #1 selling retail full-size pickup in America. Find yours at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The early game.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
Here's the problem with that 9-minute average. Once you're running 9 minutes, you're no longer trotting. You're running.
Yes.
Also a problem.
So this is the cocky trot. I'm going to need you to slow down a little.
With Bill Gunter.
I'm an
It is
expert,
the trot,
expert
yes.
in trotting, and that is not trotting. That is running. Full on, very close to sprinting.
And Jen Jensen.
The theme of this show. I don't know what happened.
On your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
.802 on your Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. Big thank you to always for Tony Annan stopping by. It's that was really interesting. A great conversation, Preston. Something I know that maybe is not talked about is mental health and well-being, and for anybody in general, not just athletes, but very interesting to hear coaches' concept. Like I said, there's a great article in the Athletic as it pertains to Premier League soccer and what happens to people just like Coach Annan there, where they sign a contract. Coach Annan said he signed a contract at 15 years of age. You know, young, dumb, just full of hope, and you think, oh, I've got this contract. This is going to be my life. This is going to be what I do for the next 25 or whatever years, and this is where my path is going to go. And then all of a sudden, and as Coach Annan said, at 18, he's brought in, and they said, "Oh, we're not renewing you. We're not giving you any more money." And it doesn't necessarily mean your career is over. We see it in the NFL. We see people continue on for a while. A good buddy of both of ours, Jonathan Alston, went on and tried some stuff. A former offensive lineman for South Carolina, was a good player. I know that he latched onto at the time the Washington Redskins for a little while, but at some point you kind of have to realize maybe the dream isn't there, and you go and you move on. You mentioned George Goss, who I don't know if it's fair to say, maybe I'm putting words in your mouth or his mouth, but say maybe football, he had something he enjoyed more than football. And there's athletes like that too who are really good at it, but it's not what they love.
It wasn't even that for George. It was just that George is just sort of a down home sort of guy, and he'd be just as happy playing in front of 80,000 at Williams-Brice as he is fixing the power lines at after a hurricane hits or something like that. It's just different people had different mentalities. And for him particularly, it just wasn't. It was fine. He had this athletic ability. He enjoyed playing. He loved playing. But George was able to transition easily. It's just the aspect where it's a lot of times it becomes people's it's almost and it's impossible for it not to become people's whole identity. When I always bring this back to youth sports, if every single day, weekend, month, year, you're trekking off to a gymnastics meet, you're going to a soccer match, you're playing AAU, you're playing flag football, you have a trainer, it's almost impossible for it not to become your whole identity. And so you have to try and figure out how to make these our young folks, we have to try and make them as more well-rounded as possible.
Where do you draw? I love these conversations, especially as we get into summertime, because of me having 2 kids and Austin, my son, being heavily involved in sports. I think I told you there was one point in I forget, the last 2 or 3 months where I told you, I was like, oh, the 23 out of the last 28 weekends, we've had some sporting event, and those 5 weekends that we didn't, New Year's, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Labor Day, and there was a hurricane.
Right.
Like that was the 5 weekends. But I also hear people say, well, I don't want my kid just sitting around the house doing nothing. And do you have an area? Because that I've told people that too. Like sports, youth sports has become so year round. Whereas I think when you and I were growing up, I personally played soccer in the fall. I played basketball in the winter. I played rec league baseball in the spring. And during the summer, I remember one summer, I think I watched the entire O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah. What happened this summer? This is my big crusade. You know, back in my day when I was a wee little lad, there was a time when summers just seemed like it lasted forever, and there would be days on end of unscheduled, sort of unplanned lounging about. And with our overzealousness to overschedule our young people, everything has to be, we got to get them to this, we got to get them to that, we got to get them to this. And it's like, man, I mean, yeah, you don't want them around doing nothing, but they can figure out stuff to do. Or even more so than anything else, is the amount of adult supervised activities where everything has to be structured instead of letting them just figure things out and have their own types of fun. I think that's where maybe some of the issues might come in.
It's funny that you talk about this because yesterday my daughter called and she was having a conversation with a coworker who has kids that are a little bit older, like one's like 12. And she said, I'm wanting her to not just lay around, this, that, and the other. And Megan's like, oh, let me tell you, in the summer, my parents had to-do lists. There was like the daily chore list, and then there was the weekly one. So sometime this week that needs to get done. And she's like, what the heck? And it's like, well, but she was not active in any kind of sports or anything like that. So it's like, okay, you need to be moving and doing something. I'm okay with you're only a kid once, you only have summers, for so long, but then they still need to do something.
Yeah, you got to contribute to the house.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Contribute to some of these things going in the house, outside.
And to go back to the amount of sports that are, I don't want to say forced upon, because I don't know if that's the right word, but maybe it doesn't allow you to create that extra identity of enjoying, just say, architecture. Bill said, well, I forget whatever game it was. I feel so old. But whatever game it was where it was you built stuff.
Sim City?
No, well, that too, but no, I'm talking
Minecraft?
about currently Minecraft. Yeah, where you build something, then you have to do something out of. The kids got into it, but yeah, like there's other elements to it, and you hear, going back to it, you wonder in this situation with Ja Morant what the identity is away from basketball, because you brought up something off air and you said you seem to think that there's a lot of alcohol. You see these videos of him,
yeah, and
you wonder what the other identity is of Ja Morant aside from just being really good at basketball. What's your identity away from the court?
Yeah, there's some definitely in some of those videos that I've seen. There's some red flag type of behavior where it goes past casual drinking, past even binge drinking. It's on the fringe of doing some very dangerous behaviors, which, by the way, are not inconsistent with people who are 21 or 22 years old. You can just go to the frat lot and see that every Saturday. So it's not as if he's not acting of his age, even with the outbursts on IG. But we expect something that's a little bit different for him because he is who he is and of the nature that he's doing. So, I mean, I think a lot of the issues, Ja is maybe more so, unfortunately, maybe representative of folks his age as opposed to an exception to the people his
So maybe
age.
his game has matured, but emotionally he has not matured
There's very
in equal proportion.
very strong possibilities.
803-404-6100. Again, kind of an interesting, fun conversation this morning as it pertains to both mental health and then also just talking about athletes and what they go through, and this really coming off of the Ja Morant news last night as it pertained to putting up some, I guess, cryptic Instagram messages with his father, his mother, and then his child, and then saying bye, and the Memphis police doing a welfare check on him. And it does circle back because, the easiest thing in the world is to go, he's an idiot. He's stupid. Well, no, there's more behind it. You don't just call him stupid and an idiot. You dig in, you make sure if you can help him or do whatever he is. And that's what the people around him are going to have to do. Two people talking sports in Columbia, South Carolina are not going to be the ones.
It's not going to be us.
But you hope the best for him. Obviously, later today, South Carolina baseball taking on Texas A&M. Jack Mahoney set to get the start. We'll tell you a little bit about that. Run down the schedule in Hoover for today. You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Gotta take.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
This is Sean Morash with a CBS Sports Minute. Game 5 is back in Boston tonight, and while it literally is a must-win for the Celtics, it could be a can't-lose for the Heat. Before Game 4, Marcus Smart said the Heat better not let Boston win a game. Well, what if they win 2? Miami's handled the Bucks and Knicks in the previous rounds just when we thought their opponents had regained life. Despite a potential Game 6 at home in Miami, the Heat don't have the horses to deal with a Celtic team that might have some re-injected life. Big one tonight for Miami. I'm Sean Morash.
WeatherGuard, the name that stands for unmatched security in truck boxes, is now making a name for itself on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series circuit. WeatherGuard is the official sponsor of the safety and security work crews at Speedway Motorsports tracks across the country. Engineered to meet the demands from job sites to race sites, WeatherGuard truck boxes feature double welded seams, weather-tight seals, and high security latches and locks. If it's a job worth doing, it's a job worth WeatherGuard. Learn more at weatherguard.com/truck.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk. I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just one pill each morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
One pill a day, 24 hours, zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Sponsored by Indeed.com. Finding a great hire can be a challenge. That's why there's Indeed. Their powerful hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 toward your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Scott here from Traditions Fine Jewelers. When it comes to diamonds, everybody knows that we have the best selection. But did you know that we also have the best prices? How do we do it? In Mine Diamonds, we work directly with the largest cutters, and in lab-grown diamonds, by working directly with the growing laboratories, which allows us to offer you the best quality at the very best price. Like a lab-grown 1-carat diamond for just $999, or a 2-carat for just $2,999. We've even got a beautiful colorless 3-carat diamond for just $4,999. And once you've picked your diamond, we can help you pick exactly the right engagement ring style from our selection of over 1,000 rings, or we can help you design a custom ring that meets your exact specifications. So do your homework and see what diamonds are selling for online, and then come see us. You'll get exactly what you want at the very best price. Only at Traditions Fine Jewelers, 5134 Sunset Boulevard in Lexington, and in Sandhills, where the Midlands get engaged.
Can you imagine a magical world
filled with elves and fairies
and pixies and sprites
whose only job is to make people happy?
They want to see you smile
and laugh
and sing
and dance a little.
These magical beings will suddenly appear
when you call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
And then you'll look at babies and smile.
And tell delivery people to have a wonderful day.
And wave at your neighbors whenever you see them.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Business owners, this is South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler. The Garnet Trust is connecting businesses like yours with athletes like me through NIL deals. Head over to garnettrust.com or 1075thegame.com to find out you can leverage the power of an athlete endorsement to grow your business.
Kickstarting your summer at the Home Depot is all about three things: saving, doing, and mulching. Make the most of our summer savings at the Home Depot now by getting 5 bags of Vigoro Premium Wood Mulch for just $10. Use it to make your garden pop and retain optimal soil moisture. And if you don't know how much you need, make use of the mulch calculator on our app. Summer savings means summer doing and mulching with Vigoro Mulch at 5 for $10 at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Just one accident out there to let you know about, and that's Old Hopkins Road at Garner's Ferry Road. A little bit milder today, 79 for the high, 73 tomorrow, and it drops to 61 with some rain and wind on Saturday. So that's going to be a little bit different for the holiday weekend, but right now it's not too bad, and we are looking at 62 at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios, this is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified, Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Welcome back in. Welcome back into the early game. It's Preston Thorne, Bill Gunter, Jen Jensen. The crew's back in. And we've been having a lot of interesting discussions today. We talked with Tony Annan. We talked about the pressure and expectations that are put upon athletes. All of this is sort of spawned about by the most recent cryptic post by John Morant, which he posted some interesting pictures on his IG story, Instagram story, which is different from his feed, which is different from live, which John just probably needs to take a break from social media altogether. But the Memphis Police Department went over and did a welfare check on him, and everything seems to be on the up and up, but it's something to keep an eye on. And it kind of gave us into this conversation that we were having, this discussion about young people in all of these aspects together. And I wanted to recommend a book that I read a couple of years ago, and it's a book that stayed with me, and I keep it top of mind. The name of the book is called What Made Maddie Run. And I'll repeat it again. It's called What Made Maddie Run. And the subtitle is The Secret Struggles and Tragic Death of an All-American Teen. And I recommend this book to anybody who has teenagers or anybody who's folks that are having teenagers. And it deals with a young woman who is a track athlete at the University of Penn who unfortunately ended her own life. But it talks about how everybody thought everything was good up until it wasn't. And it talked about the amount of peer pressure, social pressure, societal pressure, family pressure, school pressure that this young woman felt like she was under, where she didn't have an escape valve. And it's just a really interesting peer into the life of teenagers today, because so often, especially the demographic that's listening to the show now, we think about, well, it wasn't like that when I was a teenager, and
Right.
it's not.
Mm-mm.
It's a different world. And so I would highly recommend this book for anybody who has teenagers, and especially deals with the unique pressure that teenage girls deal with the pressure of perfection and always having to be put on and everything. It's a tremendous book. So the name of the book is called What Made Maddie Run. And I would recommend to check it out.
That's really good. That's important information, and it is hard for us to understand those of us who grew up not having to deal with all that. So it's like, well, I don't understand what's What's the big deal? What's the and I promise I don't mean that, but it is hard for us to really fully comprehend it. So I think being able to have those conversations and access to a book like that's good.
Absolutely.
803-404-6100 again. Interesting conversation. Maybe a little more serious, more adult than we're accustomed to.
Yeah, oftentimes we used to do this. It's like when you was watching your favorite sitcom, and it's like, this is a very special episode of
right.
Family Matters. Usually, or Saved by the Bell when Jesse was doing the pills. And it's a very special episode of Saved by the Bell. You knew something. When you heard that very special episode, you knew something was coming.
Yeah,
that very special music that accompanied
real somber music or something like that.
We have successfully done that this morning and stayed away from meatloaf conversation or bacon or
we'll be back
recliners. So it just goes to show occasionally we can't have a very serious sit down conversation. We did it totally on accident too, just kind of getting in job rant. But again, the Tony Annan stuff, I think he can explain it better than most because of what he went through. But 803-404-6100 later I say later today, in about 2 hours and 10 minutes, South Carolina baseball will get underway in Hoover against Texas A&M. Jack Mahoney will be on the mound today for the Gamecocks.
Illinois boy, by the way.
Do what?
Illinois boy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that actually rolls right off the tongue.
No, I know it does.
He will get the start. Mahoney never faced Texas A&M in his career, so this will be his first start. Mahoney has been South Carolina's, I think you can just say, best player over the last several weeks. The last 2 outings have been absolutely phenomenal. 7 shutout innings in the 3-1 win over Arkansas 2 weeks ago. And then I forget what, I guess it was last Saturday, I believe, is what he ended up pitching. All the days got run together with how they did that. But last Saturday against Tennessee, absolutely phenomenal. Struck out 9 in the 6-1 victory over Tennessee last Saturday to put South Carolina where they are today. And he'll go to the mound. Get your thoughts on this. York weighs in on our live stream. He says, I think Mark Kingston is smart in Hoover. Had to win the first one, then did not waste today's starter, Mahoney, on a great LSU offense. Now we get a team we have a great chance to beat. Now, the thing about that is, I think that's an interesting comment from York. The thing about that is, I wonder how much the win over an LSU team, again, these are human beings, and I'm going to explain why I say that in a minute, that formulates the committee that's choosing your regionals and your super regionals and so forth and so on. I say human beings because it's not computers. They know that maybe LSU has already wrapped up a national seed. They know that LSU is maybe not thinking as much about the SEC tournament as, say, a Texas A&M, who's trying to accomplish here some big things and get into the NCAA tournament and so forth and so on. And with all that being said, it makes me wonder, hey, would a win today over a 33-24 Texas A&M team, 14-16 in season play, actually mean more? As stupid as it may sound, because the committee goes, if you had beat LSU, and saving Mahoney for today looks better than just beating an LSU team that maybe these human beings, they're not computers, these people go, LSU didn't throw Paul Skeens, their top pitcher. They maybe didn't have as much of an interest.
Yeah, there is a logic in that. I just, as I cautioned during the 6 o'clock hour, I just would never want to get the idea of we're not going out here to try and win the game. And so that's always a very fine line. It could be some genius behind it, but it's very difficult if it does not work out. And to that point, if LSU was playing the same game of not trying to waste their starter or who are we actually trying to win, then they still came out ahead.
Yeah, LSU did fine. But again, LSU's spot in the postseason is cemented. They're there. They're going to be a top 3, top 4 national seed. This is a team that I think spent 11 or 12 weeks at number 1 in the polls. They finally got surpassed by Wake Forest. What do they need to accomplish this week? Not much. Don't get any injuries. So maybe today, saving Jack Mahoney if South Carolina wins. If South Carolina were to win today, if they do win, they will advance tomorrow to a 4 o'clock game tomorrow afternoon. They would play the winner of Alabama and Auburn tomorrow in that game. At least that's according to the bracket that I'm looking at on the SEC website here. LSU and Arkansas, Vanderbilt and Florida. Your schedule, by the way, for today, Texas A&M and South Carolina coming up in about 2 hours. That'll be followed 30 minutes after by Alabama and Auburn. Little Alabama rivalry there at a neutral site. 5:30 today, the number 2 seed Arkansas and the number 3 seed LSU. And then the late game tonight, Florida taking on Vanderbilt. So that's your schedule for Hoover today as we get you ready for another long day. And that's what it is, man. Colin Taylor, those people, I know they're only supposed to cover South Carolina, but they probably end up sticking around the ballpark all day long, just watching baseball, enjoying whatever press buffet food they have up there, all the Dr. Pepper you can drink.
Is that the drink of choice?
Well,
sponsor SEC.
That's the sponsor.
Okay,
so
right,
yeah, Dr. Pepper. When you want to throw a curve out there, you go to the Sunkist. I know this because about halfway through, because what happens at SEC Media Days is on about day 2, since usually we're in Birmingham, the coffee's worn off by 10. You got to get some caffeine, so you go to Dr. Pepper. After about day 2, you're like, no more Dr. Pepper. You got to go to the Sunkist. So you got to throw that curve in there. So, but that's the schedule for today. Again, A&M and South Carolina. We'll carry you right up to the pregame show 10:15, and then first pitch scheduled for 10:30. Texas A&M 33-24 on the season, 14-16 in conference play. Gamecocks 1 win away. I don't know if it means anything to anybody, but again, if they can win today, it would be at least win number 40. And I only say I don't know if it means anything because I don't know if people say, oh, well, it's not the regular season, we're not going to count that. But like Ferrari says on our live stream, he says 40 wins should host a regional. Hope says not sure it matters who you beat, but if you get to win number 40. So a couple of y'all weighing in there on our live stream talking about win number 40 and the significance that would mean for South Carolina. So again, having Jack Mahoney to throw today, certainly you like South Carolina's chances. We'll come back. We'll kind of wrap up this portion of the show because coming up here in about 15 minutes, Kerry Tharp joins us. Mm-hmm. We got to catch up on that fun all-star race and look ahead to all the racing this coming weekend. You're listening to Preston Thorne, Bill Gunner, she's Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
We appreciate you listening to 107.5 The Game. And because you are a loyal listener, you might have noticed the last few weeks that the game hasn't sounded as strong coming through your speakers. Or you all of a sudden can't pick up the station in certain places around the Midlands. Well, a few weeks ago, our main transmitter was damaged during a storm. It'll still be a few more weeks until we get the parts to have it fixed. So if you're having issues listening to 107.5 The Game, we encourage you to go to iTunes or the Google Play Store and download our app. In a couple of clicks, you'll be hearing the game loud and clear. Thanks again for your patience and for listening to 107.5 The Game.
The high this coming weekend on Saturday, from what I'm reading, is supposed to only be 61 degrees. And if you're like me and you're cold-natured and you hate that, you might actually be turning the heat on in your house. You heard that correctly, by the way. Late May, the high is supposed to only be, this is Saturday, is only supposed to be, now I'm looking at my weather app and it has 58. You might actually be turning the heat on. But then guess what? A week later, the high is 87. You're going to be turning the air conditioner on. The back and forth it can wear on your air conditioner, and that might mean it's time to get a brand new one. Something could go out this summer. Trust me, you don't want to come home after a long day of work, enter a household where the air conditioner has been out. So if you've heard some clinking and clunking and you're worried about your air conditioner, don't wait any longer. Call AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Speak with the comfort advisors at AAA Heating and Air and find out how the Inflation Reduction Act can help save you money. Up to $3,800 in tax credits can be saved right now. Call AAA Heating and Air today to learn more about it. 803-677-1500. And then on top of that, you can learn about all the great deals AAA Heating and Air offers you. $1,500 to buy back your old unit. That's the start right there. So you could save a lot of money right now, today, by calling AAA Heating and Air, 803-677-1500. Speak with a comfort advisor and find out how you can get new comfort in your home tomorrow with a phone call today. On top of everything, AAA Heating and Air guarantees financing, and for qualified buyers, you can get 0% financing, and you get a 15-year parts and labor warranty. Contact AAA Heating and Air today, 803-677-1500. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service, Guy Gant's company. Guy Gant's not with us anymore, but his girls are. The Gant Girls. You know, Chelsea and Madison. You know some of the things they do at Pioneer Tree Service? Tree and shrub removal, tree pruning and thinning, tree planting, tree bracing, raising tree canopies, stump grinding removal, storm damage services, property cleaning and grading, demolition and rock removal, right-of-way maintenance. You got to get in touch with these people. 803-794-8253. Let me give you that again. 803-794-8253. Call right now and get a free estimate. For the most challenging jobs, Pioneer Tree Service. So you're going to want to call somebody you can trust, and that is the Gant Girls at Pioneer Tree Service.
803-794-8253. Or find us online at pioneertreesc.com.
Call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote.
If you have tax problems, it can affect all aspects of your life. Now's the time to do something about it. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. Everyone at our firm truly believes we can improve the lives of our clients by eliminating the stress and worry of IRS tax problems. We're a local South Carolina law firm dedicated to resolving your tax problems for good. Simply put, we solve tax problems. So if you're facing IRS tax liens, bank or wage levies, or have years of unfiled tax returns, come meet with us in person. Your first visit is free and confidential. We'll show you how we will solve your problem and how much it'll cost. So don't put it off any longer. Call us now at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to our website at irsproblemsolving.com. It is time to do something about that tax problem. Your solution is right here in South Carolina. So hire a South Carolina attorney. Hire me, John Ecton.
Are you looking for a summer camp for your 5 to 14-year-old? Do you want them to experience the lifetime sports of golf, tennis, and swimming? Then the Wide World of Sports Summer Camp at the Windermere Club is just the camp for you. We offer 7 weekly Monday through Friday sessions to choose from beginning June 5th. The camp offers half-day camps, which run from 9 to noon, half-day with lunch and pool, which runs 9 to 2 p.m., and full day, 9 to 4 p.m. is also available. No rainouts and no equipment necessary. We supply rackets, golf clubs, curriculum, and first-class instruction. All campers get t-shirts and they hit for prizes every Friday. The Wide World of Sports Summer Camp at the Windermere Club is a once-in-a-lifetime experience you can revisit year after year. For more information and to register, please visit sports4.life. That's sports, the number 4.life.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Hey everybody, I hope that Thursday has continued to treat you well. It's time for another First Alert traffic update. This morning has remained calm again around the region. Left a seat with a nice calming sense of weather, albeit a little bit cooler than some might like. There have not been anything with confirmed collisions causing major problems, backups, or anything, of course, with closures that, of course, been impactful around the Midlands. Let's keep it up that way as the morning continues. And, of course, always appreciate you listening to your First Alert traffic update. I am meteorologist Tony Schiafaroli.
What we're talking about on 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
So we're sitting here and we're talking, the three of us, Jen and Preston and myself, and we're talking about today and what's happened and tomorrow. And we look out the window and Well, you want to describe what just went?
Wow.
We saw a very fervent walker walking down Gervais Street.
And surprisingly, walking their dog,
Mm-hmm.
but pushing the dog in a stroller
Well,
apparatus.
which was even more fascinating because we saw the true celebrity of Columbia. We saw Champ Staley.
Yes, Dawn Staley. Just right, we're sitting here, and I just mid sentence I paused and started looking around, and I was like, "Is that Dawn Staley just walking the dog?" Like, but the dog is in a baby stroller.
I guess
Champ Staley and Sosa apparently need to get on an exercise program here.
But
like
the best part about it was the way we confirmed it was like, oh yeah, that's the dog.
Yeah,
that's Champ.
Well, that's it. Yeah,
And honestly, I would like I was just telling you guys, I would have expected that Dawn's like, okay, we're working out.
No,
So
I think
run.
Champ lives a very pampered life. Champ is very well taken care of.
Clearly.
Sosa, Juice Wells' dog, who's benefiting greatly from the farmer's dog, I believe. NIL deal is Sosa. If Sosa saw that, he'd be like, yo, Juice.
Yeah.
What's up? Where's my stroller, man? You got me running in commercials.
Yeah, yesterday as I poured out the 50-pound bag of kibble for my dog yesterday, she eats the same thing every day on loop.
Yep.
Hope she's happy.
That's what
Your
that's
dog doesn't go and stand at the refrigerator and be like, hey, food's in there, big guy.
She hasn't protested yet, but
Yeah, and then I'll see, some of these celebrities. And again, it's celebrities, so their schedules might be a little different. It's like, well, I hate to give them the dog food from the store. So, it's really better for them if I can cook up some ground beef and some sweet potatoes from them. Like, I didn't cook that for myself. Like, seriously?
Exactly. Nope, you get the kibble.
Glad we're taking care of the pets around here.
100% pet friendly show. But yeah, that was pretty wild.
Well, just the dog in the stroller still is.
I struggle with that.
Well,
to me,
and Champ's just having a good time. The dog's head was out looking around like, this is great.
Good.
Like, this is how life is supposed to be. Like, there's a lot of people who couldn't put a dog in a stroller and that dog stay there. And
no, and she was walking at a good clip, so it was kind of like being in a car, really, for the dog with the wind in the face. Loving it.
Oh, man, the things that you see around here.
That's
803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in this morning. Let me ask you this real quick. Texter sent in, because I don't know if I understand what the texter is saying. It says, we didn't save Mahoney for today. He's already pitching on short rest. I get it because of Saturday to Thursday. If you really needed to win yesterday's game, Preston, if you really needed to win it, you could have thrown Mahoney for 5 or 6 innings, right? Like, let me go back and look. I want to say Mahoney threw 90 pitches last week, I believe, in that win over Tennessee. Like, it wasn't a ridiculous number of pitches. It was up there. I'm not saying it was a short work, but if you had deemed if South Carolina needed yesterday to get into the NCAA tournament, you probably could have or would have thrown Jack. You would have started Mahoney and seen how many innings you could get out of him, right?
I assume so because the situations would have been flipped where, as you stated earlier, LSU's position is cemented and this is not their priority, so to say. So I assume that would have been the case.
93 pitches for Mahoney last Saturday. So yeah, I mean, that's still a good amount of work. I'm not disagreeing with what the texter says. You ideally do not throw that pitcher on what would have been 4 days rest for Saturday, Sunday, 3 days rest, I guess. But in this situation, I mean, if you're going by that, you would hold him today again to let him get that one extra day of rest so that he would come back for you on Friday. But really doesn't matter. South Carolina, they're in the NCAA tournament. Now, whatever they do, we're trying to figure out how it will factor into hosting D1 baseball, Baseball America. They've all had their own opinions of everything and what's going to happen. No real changes. Baseball America had South Carolina hosting a regional. The interesting thing, I think, Preston, is something that we've brought up a couple times. Jamie Bradford kind of discussed it. Is the NCAA tournament willing to give three regionals to the state of South Carolina? Clemson's going to get one. Coastal's going to get one. Will they hold that against South Carolina and be like, we probably need to give one? Jamie Bradford said they've gone away from that, but that does still tend to linger in their mind at times.
Gone away from rewarding that?
Take it like I think Jamie Jen was listening. I think Jamie used the example of like, well, we need another one out west, so teams don't have to travel as much.
And I understand that. That's understandable. and especially if the third team doesn't clearly deserve it, if it's a bubble type thing. And that's the risk you run when you put yourself in a position to be left to the discretion of a committee. You never know what the type of factors are going into their decision making. So
that's kind of what we wait on for today. Again, first pitch, a little less than 2 hours away now. Tyler Head will get you from 9 to about 10:15, and then we'll get the pregame with Derek Scott and Tommy Moody. Coming up next, Kerry Tharp joins us. It'll be time to look ahead. The Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge. Ooh, it's a tight race, and we are at about the midway point of the season. Coca-Cola 600 up in Charlotte this weekend. We'll talk about that. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game.
Have you missed any of the early game?
You can catch up by going to the Early Game on demand page at 1075thegame.com.
Or by downloading our 1075 The Game app on iTunes or Google Play.
Sponsored by Train Heating and Cooling Systems. Train Heating and Cooling Systems are tested, retested, engineered, and re-engineered to keep up with you. We run together. Visit traininfo.com to find your local independent Train dealer. Traininfo.com. It's hard to stop a Train.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zerust Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning a call. Right now, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. Book online at ZerustColumbia.com.
Playing hard left you with sore muscles? Consider cryotherapy. Embraced by athletes at the highest levels, cryotherapy is known for reducing inflammation while stimulating rapid recovery. It strengthens your immune system, increases metabolism, boosting your energy, not to mention cognitive clarity, for days.
Feel better than you thought possible in just 3 to 4 minutes with cryotherapy. Schedule an appointment at Icebox Cryotherapy at 4609 Forest Drive.
SC Department of Corrections is hiring food service specialists with a $7,500 sign-on bonus. Start a new career with great employee benefits today. Visit joinscdc.com for info. Sponsored by SC Department of Corrections, SCBA, and this station.
Are you looking for a summer camp for your 5 to 14-year-old? Do you want them to experience the lifetime sports of golf, tennis, and swimming? Then the Wide World of Sports Summer Camp at the Windermere Club is just the camp for you. We offer 7 weekly Monday through Friday sessions to choose from beginning June 5th. The camp offers half-day camps, which run from 9 to noon, half-day with lunch and pool, which runs 9 to 2 p.m., and full day 9 to 4 p.m. is also available. No rainouts and no equipment necessary. We supply rackets, golf clubs, curriculum, and first-class instruction. All campers get t-shirts and they hit for prizes every Friday. The Wide World of Sports Summer Camp at the Windermere Club is a once-in-a-lifetime experience you can revisit year after year. For more information and to register, please visit sports4.life. That's sports, the number 4.life.
Strengthening the lives of children and families is a passion. Turn that passion into results as a child welfare case manager. Learn more at dss.sc.gov. This message is sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Social Services.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers, nurses, food services, facilities maintenance, mental health professionals, law enforcement officers, teachers, and more statewide. There are sign-on bonuses for officers, food services, nurses, and law enforcement officers. South Carolina Department of Corrections has great employee benefits, like 6 weeks of PTO accrued yearly and police officer retirement. Start a rewarding new career today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here for the Hood team from Coldwell Banker, and I'm going to tell you about an amazing dream home opportunity that doesn't come along very often. More than 2 acres with more than 500 feet of waterfront, all on the Irmo side of the Lake Murray Dam. A 5,000 plus square foot home with a sunroom, a deck, a dock, a garage, a wet bar, and again, all with extraordinary views of Lake Murray. For this much land and water frontage and so very close in, you'd certainly expect to pay a lot more, but it does need some updating. And at a price of $1.8 million, there's potential to make it worth a lot more with your own personal touch. Call the Hood team today and make an appointment to see if this fantastic property has the potential to be your new once in a lifetime Dream Home, 803-730-2512 or online at thehoodteam.com.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Hey, everybody. I hope that Thursday has continued to treat you well. It's time for another First Alert traffic update. This morning has remained calm again around the region. Left to see with a nice calming sense of weather, albeit a little bit cooler than some might like. There have not been anything with confirmed collisions causing major problems, backups, or anything, of course, with closures that, of course, been impactful around the Midlands. Let's keep it up that way as the morning continues. And, of course, always appreciate you listening to your First Alert traffic update. I am meteorologist Tony Schiavaroli.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks. 1075 The Game.
Last weekend in North Wilkesboro, it was a whipping. There's another word they used, or Kyle Larson used, to describe his victory over the 24-car field that took place in North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race. He wins himself a cool $1 million. And
I didn't get $1 million, but I got 7 points.
you did. You did. That's very
Boy,
close.
You did. You sure did.
Joining us now, Kerry Tharp, as he does each and every Thursday. And number one, I meant to ask Jen to ask you off air so that this would be far more professional, but I'll just do it live. Did you get a chance? You mentioned you wanted to get up there and kind of check everything else, check everything out. Yeah. The return to Wilkesboro hadn't been up there since 1996. Did you get a chance to go up there and kind of take everything in?
I did, Bill. I went up on Saturday. Got up there in time for the truck race and hung around for 5 or 6 hours. And I tell you, it was like walking in a time machine. I'd never been to North Wilkesboro because when it last closed in 1996, I was chasing Brad Scott around the practice field at Carolina. So I didn't really even follow NASCAR then, but it was really cool. It's obviously an older track, older surface. The stands were packed. The fans were having a big time. There was a lot of energy. I did notice it was pretty dusty up there. So I guess that's how some of these old short tracks were. Pretty much everybody is parking out in the fields and then walking up to the facility. But I thought it was a big hit, and I thought it was a good deal for our sport. And like I said, I was up there Saturday. I was not up there on Sunday, but really enjoyed the time that I was up there.
Is there a chance that is North Wilkesboro, correct me if I'm wrong, are they going to make this a little bit more part of the rotation, not just the All-Star race, or is this making it potential to be more of a yearly thing now, bringing that back?
I think that remains to be seen. They put a lot of money into refurbishing that place. Both the state of North Carolina put, I think, close to $20 million. I know SMI, I'm sure, put a lot of money into refurbishing the facility. The track is very, very old and worn out. I think the racing surface is almost 40 years old. And so I don't know how much longer they can continue to race on that same surface without a repave. And so
chewing up tires big time.
Big time. And I noticed there after the truck race, they were actually out there putting pieces of the track back in place. So I think they'll be back next year, Bill. I think they'll be back next year for the All-Star race. And then I think they'll kind of evaluate and see what they're going to do for the future of that facility. But certainly the fans enjoyed being there. I think the teams enjoyed it. And like I said, I think it was it was a positive for the sport.
I got a question in, I think it was towards the end last week that I didn't get a chance to ask you, and it was whether or not you thought, obviously now that they've done this refurbished and put the money into North Wilkesboro, if you thought NASCAR may ever do something similar with Rockingham, which obviously was, you think about the great southern tracks and the kind of the move through North Carolina, South Carolina with Darlington, with Rockingham, North Wilkesboro. Do you think there's any chance we see something similar with with Rockingham in the future?
Well, perhaps so. I have never been in that facility either, and I'm sure it needs a lot of work to get up to standards where you could have a NASCAR sanctioned event there. I really don't know. I know that SMI is very interested in bringing back to life the Nashville Fairgrounds over in Nashville, Tennessee, and so
there's a big boat coming on that.
Yeah, big boat coming on that, and so I think a lot of their efforts are focused over there. I haven't heard so much about Rockingham. I do know fans enjoyed racing there, and they thought it was a cool place to go, but it takes a lot of money to get a place like that back up to where it needs to be. And so, I know the state of North Carolina has already pumped in a good bit of money for North Wilkesboro, and I really don't see that happening again for a place like Rockingham. But, you never know. But I think right now the efforts are still on North Wilkesboro, and now probably even more so in the future on the Nashville Fairgrounds.
Kerry Tharp joining us as he does each and every Thursday. So back to North Wilkesboro, just one final look back. Can you explain what Kyle Larson did last week? Because to start 16th, to get a pit row penalty, I guess, and move to the back, and then just blow the field away within 100 laps. The first 100 laps, he's got the 12-second lead, and then they have to do the 100-lap caution. Can you put that into words for people who are kind of like me and what I'd say is amateur NASCAR watchers?
Yeah, I mean, he had like a rocket ship, Bill. I mean, that car, like you said, he started 16th, I think, and his car really wasn't very good at all on Friday. In fact, I heard him say several times that he didn't know if he was even going to put on much of a show at all on Sunday. But they really worked on that car on Saturday and got that thing running. And then once he got out front, there was no catching him. And so it was just he was off to the races, and I guess it was one of those deals where he was just in his zone. His car was in his zone, and he nobody was going to catch him over there on Sunday night.
No, it was pretty impressive to watch, and you'll sometimes see that on a shorter track, where there's just one car that'll just explode, and it's like, okay, well, really the race is between second place and beyond, or and back, because you're not ever going to catch them. So it's so funny kind of interesting how one will just get so dialed in. Pretty neat.
Right.
It'll be interesting.
Go ahead. I was going to say real quick, Bill, people tell me that years ago when North Wilkesboro was running, that on occasion you'd get a race like that where somebody would get so far out ahead, was so much better than everybody else, they would just continually lap the field. And so that's almost kind of what we saw the other night, I think, at the All-Star race.
Mm-hmm.
Looking ahead this week, I'll let Jen kind of just you two just racing aficionados. Jen is the fact that we've kept. If you were not here, if it was just Preston and I, Jen would be in the car and almost to the North Carolina line right now in her efforts to get up to the Indy 500. But Jen, I'll let you real quick kind of preview that this weekend and what you're excited about.
As far as like the Indy race is concerned,
yeah,
I'm really excited, and it's I'm kind of glad there was a lot of drama in how the qualifying happens, and you get down to the specific day for the last three, so positions 31 through 33, and there's a certain time limit that is used, and you have to kind of make a decision of when you go back out again to make another lap, especially because there were 4 going for 3 spots, and legendary family Ray Hall, well, the son did not get in. Graham did not get in the race, and it shocked a lot of people. The positions 33 and 34 are both Ray Hall team members, and neither of them, and they were competing for that last spot, and Graham ended up not getting in. But sadly, Stefan Wilson had an accident, hurt a vertebrae. So now Graham Rahal's actually in the race, but driving for a different team. So that's going to be interesting too, because really poor qualifying efforts. So how's he going to do in the race on a different team, and especially in a contract year? So I think that's going to be, but all that to say, looking forward to the race, looking forward to the getting back to the hotel so I can watch the Coca-Cola 600. I mean, Sunday is just like Super Bowl for me. Truly.
It is a big deal. We know you'll keep us updated. Now, down here, we've got the Coca-Cola 600. And Kerry, before we make some picks here in the Corley Pool Solutions Checkered Flag Challenge, give us your quick breakdown of what you see and what you expect.
Well, obviously, it's the longest race on our schedule, and sometimes it lasts almost 5 hours. And so you start in the day, you transition to twilight, and then you go to darkness. And so the track temperatures change immensely. Which means that your tire wear is going to change and the setup of your car is going to change. So, like I said, it's a long, long race, 600 miles. And, I've seen a lot of drivers. It's a little bit like that Southern 500. I've seen a lot of drivers look really, really good, during the daytime. And then all of a sudden the temperature's cool and the track cools and all of a sudden their car goes away. So I think you just make sure that you dial your car in for that last 100 miles and try to get the win. So it's one of our sports crown jewels and always puts on a really good show.
Let's make some picks for the week. Kerry, Jen did pick the winner last week. Finally. Jen had been on a string of not picking very well, but it jumped her ahead of Reggie. So Reggie's got the first pick this week, and I understand he's finally understanding how we do things. Only took 4 years, so good job for Reggie. He has submitted his pick. Who is Reggie Anderson going with this week, Jen?
Reggie is going with the winner of last week's race, Kyle Larson.
Okay, Reggie just taking the favorite.
Real stretch there, Reggie.
Yeah, I was going to say, just taking the favorite, not doing any homework or any kind of research, just reading the Vegas odds and taking. Okay, no problem, Reggie. Jen, you're up next. 1 point ahead of Reggie, 4 points behind me. Where are you going?
I tell you, boy, there's 3 of them that I just kind of keep going between, and I'm pretty much just going to have to make a circle with my pen and drop it because I don't know. I'm going to go Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott. Okay.
He's won there before.
Chase Elliott to get his first win of the season.
Exactly.
Well, you hear the way Kerry was surprised by that pick, let you know it was a really bad pick.
Oh,
so
I don't think that was at all what he was saying.
I totally understood him there. You heard it. He was like, wow, okay, Jen, I'm not sure that's going to help you. Totally with you. Give me a guy who has won 3 of the 4 intermediate track races this season, finished 4th in the other. I am going William Byron here. William Byron this week. You got to
considering it's not an intermediate track, but we'll talk about that later.
That's what my odds tell me right here. Go ahead. What do you got there, Preston?
All my picks are still on the board. We're going to give me Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Oh.
Whoa, Preston.
Okay.
We're going for the win here. We're going for the win.
I hear you, PT.
All right, and it is our leader topping the 50-point mark now. Kerry Tharp, who are you going with?
I'm going with my man, number 19, Martin Truex Jr. He's going to wipe them up on Sunday night at Sharp.
Gary, man, you have a great Memorial Day
I remember what happened
weekend.
last time you picked Truex. I don't know about this.
Yeah, it's true.
Under investigation.
We are keeping you. We are
still under investigation.
Keeping you. Kerry, you have a great weekend.
Y'all do the same. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Jen, you be safe traveling. Thanks. Preston, safe traveling. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Gamecock quarterback Spencer Rattler, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game.
Be good, everybody.
Yep. Jen's off and out. Preston may be around tomorrow. I'll be honest, if South Carolina loses today, we may take tomorrow off because of the signal issues. So if South Carolina loses, you may not see us in the morning. But we will stay tuned. We got some signal issues going on with our tower, more so than normal. Y'all have a great rest of the day and take care.
Yep, be safe, guys.